256 games ago, the UFL promised to take you on a new journey through a new universe. Through the ups and downs and a roller coaster season full of drama and excitement, that promise was delivered. And here we stand, battered and bruised, with all of you on the field for the next chapter. Tonight, the Vegas Devils take their impenetrable defensive front to Dakota, where they meet the Fisters, who stand tall above the rest of the Rhinos. St. Louis heads to Cincinnati on a 3-game losing skid, but boasts plenty of firepower to stack up against the topsy-turvy Cincinnati Vultures. In the nightcap, the Rochester Pioneers make their playoff debut after a 27-season Ultimate Football League drought. They face the explosive Dallas Talons in Big D's desperation for a football championship. And the league's top team, the Salt Lake Hornets, host the upset-minded Phoenix Skyhawks. The UFL playoffs start now on VFN. Welcome to the playoffs, everybody. From Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Cincinnati, Ohio, I'm Cameron Irvine. He's Josh Zirkle, and the UFL playoffs are here. Welcome to the broadcast, Josh. We're ready to go for tonight's epic matchups. It's a unique broadcast, and we're excited to bring it to you. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing great, Cam. Hello. Hello to everyone in chat. You are officially a part of UFL history. First ever UFL playoffs, 2 games happening at the same time. Cam, what are we going to do with ourselves?
Well, hopefully we won't have a lot of downtime here tonight, and we certainly won't have a lot of issues seeing all the action, because it's all right here on the screen for you. Cincinnati kicking off, Sioux Falls, or Dakota kicking off as well, coming up.
Cincinnati already out of the gate, kicking off to the River people. Karen Kazumi already in shotgun. And she is just an absolute firecracker, wasting no time throwing on first down. Out to the left side.
Picks up a few, and we get a look at the St. Louis's offense. Vegas's offense on the field first. It's Frank Stearns at quarterback for Vegas, and he'll dump that off to the flat and pick up a couple of yards. It'll be second down for Vegas as well.
I really like this Vegas offense, Cam. They got a lot of good horses, a lot of good skill players. I know they did not exactly have the most stellar regular season. After they lost to Salt Lake in March, though, they whipped off 7 straight wins and then had a little skid toward the end, losing 4 of their last 5. But I think this is a team that can string some wins together and maybe make some noise in this playoffs.
It's going to be a Vegas third down coming up as Nitro gets that carry. So now a 3rd down and 7 for St. Louis. They're going to go empty.
And another good look at the Fisters here. Menachem Pfister, Mordecai Pfister, Malachi Pfister. I won't tell you what I was doing the last time I saw that many Fisters, but look over here in Cincinnati. St. Louis already on the board. The Central House gets it to the house.
Touchdown for St. Louis. Central House, one-on-one, and he puts a stiff arm on the corner for Cincinnati. The Vultures tried to work on their defensive backs this week ahead of this game, and it's House taking it to the house on St. Louis's opening drive. 3 plays into the playoffs, Josh, we've got our first touchdown.
And Cornell Spencer got hosed. That's a great job by House going up and getting that 50-50 ball and then getting it over to the goal line. And St. Louis, another streaky team. Both of these teams, St. Louis and Cincinnati, very mercurial. But it's the Rivermen that get on the board first. They lead 7-0.
What a start as Vegas does a little bit of Wildcat action as they continue their opening drive. But how about a minute and 12 seconds in? St. Louis coming in on a 3-game losing streak, Josh. And that'll make you forget all about a 3-game losing streak. They've done well with their time off.
Yeah, and you want to keep in mind, St. Louis actually beat Cincinnati when they played in St. Louis in May. Scored 10 unanswered in the 4th quarter to win that game. two big rushers in that game. Obviously, Junior McCray, but also Karen Kaizumi, who had 70 yards on the ground as well.
That touchdown went for 62 yards. The last time these two teams played, Cincinnati didn't really give up anything big. The longest reception for St. Louis, just under 30 yards. And Cincinnati's got to be frustrated with that start, as we'll get to see Mac Chima for the first time, but right now it's 3rd and 8 for Vegas. As Frank Stearns drops to throw, that is caught. Ethan Flowers to the Dakota 39-yard line, so a solid start for Vegas' offense as well.
Ethan Flowers, probably the lead dog of a very deep Vegas receiving core, can run all the routes, can make catches in traffic like you just saw there. And when you give Frank Stearns a big pocket like that to throw to, you're asking for a world of trouble.
In the chat, Evan Wood, Charles Doherty's here, Ernest McCray, Ronnie Shanahan, Skippy, many others in the chat. Rochester and Dallas, Phoenix, Salt Lake coming up later tonight, but right now it's Stearns across the 50, floating that one into traffic, and Vegas had to play defense on that one. Stearns' first incomplete pass of the night.
Dakota is one of those teams that's really going to benefit if they actually can get an early lead. They love to run the ball. They run it better than maybe anybody else in the league did this year, except for maybe San Diego, averaging 5 yards a carry plus on the ground. And they got a stout defense as well. They're going to give Vegas all they can handle tonight.
Flowers got nailed. The Dakota defense is stout up front with all the Fisters and Rick Kuhn and plenty others on that defense. As Mac Chima's got a 3rd down and 10 here, and it's going to go down. Maple Mac with the sack, and St. Louis gets a 3 and out as Stearns fires down the field, but his intended target was out of bounds, and Vegas' drive is going to stall. Battle was the intended target.
Yeah, Vegas just outside of field goal range, I believe. I do not think we're going to see Zach Martin come out. This would be like 59 yards at the start of the game.
So your first Hugo numbers tonight, 51 plus and 7 on that long ball touchdown, the 62-yarder. Vegas will, in fact, punt the football away. Vertical and diagonal in play tonight in both of our wild card playoff blocks. You've got the Great West on the left, the Great East on the right. 4 games in each conference sorts out the wild card. And Josh, we've got the #1 team in the West, Salt Lake, later tonight. And hey, there's no buys in these playoffs. Everybody's got to win 4 to go get that championship now.
Yeah, Salt Lake, undefeated at home, will have home field advantage through the playoffs, but they do have to play in the first round. And they're going to face a really sneaky Phoenix team that almost snuck into the playoffs through the side door. They finished 8-8, but they were in a very tough division with Austin and Houston. And Phoenix, who we did not talk about for the last month of the regular season, actually claimed that 8 seed after sweeping Houston in the head-to-head tiebreaker.
Both teams right now are deep in their own territory. St. Louis at their own 24, as Larry Seitz gets another carry for Dakota, but not much there. Going to set up a 3rd down and 6 for the Rhinos. That pass was nearly picked, so 3rd down and 6 coming up for St. Louis as well.
Billy Flagg, really the perfect quarterback for this offense, a team that will grind, that will get a little dirty, and they've had some very strong competition this season. As you see, a completion and a 1st down, and Dakota already humming, getting out of the shadow of their own goalpost. And who else would it be but Mike Coco making a big catch right out of the gate here on the Dakota Rhinos opening drive.
Yeah, and Camille Wells also with a catch on 3rd down for St. Louis as well. So they've got to move the 1st down to the 34-yard line. A solid start for the Rivermen on the road. They got to be feeling really good about how they've started this ball game tonight.
Yeah, it's Cincinnati and St. Louis doing battle here. Cincinnati, who of course had the tremendous start out of the gate, winning their first 6 games, only to go on to lose their next 6 and then rally to a level rarely seen, winning 3 of their last 4 to actually claim their division title by 1 game over Milwaukee, who's the 8th seed in the East, and Motor City, who did not make the playoffs at all, which was a bit of a surprise, I thought.
Dakota just caught that off a deflection. Oh, we're not going to get a replay, Zirkle. That was an unbelievable catch by Seitz to pick up 5 yards and a first down.
I didn't even see it. I was rambling. There's Kaizumi on the right side, though, scrambling for extra yardage. And she will move the chains. 14 yards for Kaizumi's first rush of the game.
Oh, man, Josh, this is so exciting. We're going to be doing this all night long. A little read option for Kaizumi. St. Louis has a first down. Dakota's got a 2nd and 4. Jesse Fretz has a $10 super chat. Plays like the opening score. Why I have the UFL running in every room, even the restroom. Hashtag never miss a moment. Larry Seitz up the gut. Dakota's to the Vegas 49-yard line, and the Rhinos have done good work since they started inside the 10.
Yeah, and that's the kind of drive that they love, going coast to coast, grinding it out, keeping that defense on the field. And Vegas very stout on the defensive side of the ball, especially in the red zone. But they do not want to be in a situation where they're spending the majority of the time on the field against this Dakota offense. Meanwhile, St. Louis in a 2nd and long situation, and Kaizumi is going to hand off. I believe that's Junior McCray, the halfback, very stout in his own right, and he's going to bring up 3rd and very manageable.
Billy Flagg took a sack, and that's Tyrone Johnson for Las Vegas in the backfield. The Devils more sacks than any team in the league this season, and it was like that since week 1, since they buried Zach Holdorf in the backfield against San Diego and smothered the Wildcats 20-7 in week 1. That's been one of the more surprising storylines of the season, Josh. It's just how lethal the Devils have been up front. Now it's 2nd and 18 over there.
Yeah, Vegas, the only team in the UFL to beat both Miami and Cincinnati this season, both of those teams in the playoffs. They did lose to Rochester in July, and they got blown out by Los Angeles in February. So you really sometimes wonder which Vegas team is going to show up. And I think the Vegas faithful are very happy at the team they're looking at right now.
It's 3rd down and 15 for Dakota. Kaizumi's on a play action, going to go long but overshot, and Vegas has a pick, and it's going back the other way.
Goodbye. He gone.
Touchdown for the Devils, and they take the lead on another big play in this game, 6-0.
Xavier Charles just jumps the route, and wait, it's one of those 5-and-outs. Nobody's going to catch him. Tony T.J. Horn Jr. realizes a little too late and gives chase, but it's all for naught. And Vegas taking one to the house, a pick 6 here in the playoffs. Rolling snake eyes on what was looking to be a very good drive for the Dakota Rhinos. Ends in tears.
That's going to go down as a 47-yard interception return for a touchdown, so 2 high numbers off the board already for all the Yugo players in Vegas. Here on the road, we've had no red zone opportunities yet as McCray gets slung down on 3rd down and 11, and Cincinnati gets a stop, but both Vegas and St. Louis up early on the road, 7-zip.
It looks like St. Louis is going to punt here. Kaizumi under pressure, finds McCray on the screen, but that is just blown up about as quickly as you could think by Robert Brady Jr. Great read, great play recognition, and McCray just has nowhere to go, and he's going to get his team the ball back here with potentially favorable field position depending on how this punt turns out.
Xavier Charles with his 3rd interception of the season, has been on the team all season long. 2 tackles shy of 100 coming into the night, but hasn't necessarily been the most lethal defensive player on this Devils squad, but makes a monstrous play for Vegas early on in this game. You see the graphic there, Al Ingram III without a carry on that opening drive for Cincinnati as they've tried to attack St. Louis through the air. Can't blame them. The Rivermen defense have been leaky in the last month.
Yeah, very bizarre. Some of the teams that they've been losing to, just kind of up and down all over the place. But, I mean, that's life in Vegas. And right now, they're living the high life right now with a 7-0 lead as looks like Seitz is going to get a great rush off 1st down and make this 2nd and infinitesimal. And Dakota's going to try again, Cam, see if they can score some points for their own team this time.
Mac Chima on 2nd and 7 throws that one into the dirt for Cincinnati, so it's going to bring up 3rd down for the Vultures. They're struggling. They are 2.5-point underdogs tonight against St. Louis, who comes in with a better record. Dakota, a 3.5-point favorite over Vegas. Dakota and Vegas have not met so far this season, as Warren Murray does not make the catch. That is ruled a drop. Chima 1 of 5 for 3 yards, and Cincinnati goes 3 and out again.
We mentioned that Cincinnati lost to St. Louis in their regular season matchup. Mac Chima had a decent game, threw for over 300 yards, but did throw 3 interceptions. And you know that he had this opponent in mind, or had that game in mind when this opponent came up, looking to atone for that performance during the regular season. So far, not quite happening for the Vultures, and they're going to punt it away to the Rivermen, leading 7-0. And that is an amazing punt, and the backspin to boot.
They're marking that at the 16, Josh.
That's unbelievable. Well, nobody downed it. It just went straight. I've never seen that happen.
Where did that hit? At about the 1 yard line?
It was well inside the 5, and then it looked like they had Brooks Koepka backspin on it all the way out to the sideline. And so to be on the 16 for St. Louis. What a fortunate Rivermen bounce.
And wide open on the sideline. Dakota is our first team in the red zone. Monte Harris, nobody defending Harris. A blown coverage there. Dakota's got a first down.
That's about as open as you get. Nobody in frame. And now Dakota playing scrappy football.
Izumi almost threw a pick in the flat there. Dangerous ball, 3rd and 9 coming up for St. Louis.
You look at all the quarterbacks that are playing right now between Chima and Kaizumi and Frank Stearns and Billy Flagg. Kaizumi is the one that could break either way. She could get 400 yards of offense, or she could have 4 turnovers, or literally anything in between. She is that amazing, but sometimes the wheels just come off the wagon without any sort of notice at all, as she connects on a big first down to get her team near midfield.
That's Central House again. Koizumi 5 of 8 for 96 yards and a touchdown to start has been lethal. Both Cincinnati and St. Louis, shaky secondaries. Defense is not their strong suit. Right now, St. Louis jumping all over him. This is Larry Seitz for Dakota. He's going backwards for a loss of 2 yards. 3rd and 13 coming up at the 17-yard line for Dakota.
Dakota's got to think they've got 3 points locked up here as long as they finish 3rd down with the football. Kind of surprised to see them go east and west on 2nd down. I would like to see them be even more conservative here on 3rd down, going up the middle. Meanwhile, 2nd and long back in Cincinnati. The Rivermen find themselves off schedule once again as McCray is tackled for a loss.
Can Dakota convert? 3rd down and 13. Flag going to take off. He's got a long way to go and almost got around the edge, but wrapped up at the 9-yard line. That's the end of the first quarter in Dakota, and it looks like it's field goal time coming up for the Rhinos. They trail 7-0 at the end of the first quarter of the UFL wildcard playoffs. Junior McCray is put down again in the backfield, just 4 yards on 9 carries. Cincinnati shut him down in the first meeting. It'll be 3rd down and long. That was a 26-yard field goal for Dakota. That is good. 7-3 Devils.
Yeah, and you got to give credit to Damon Carafell for Vegas making that tackle on Billy Flagg. That literally took 4 points off the board. Dakota had a good shot at 7. They're going to have to settle for 3. And Vegas maintains a 4-point lead.
3rd down and 15 for Koizumi, looking to throw. There's nobody there, and Karen takes a sack. Ford in the backfield. 4th and 29. Boy, Cincinnati's defense has responded since giving up that opening drive touchdown.
Yeah, 4-man rush, nobody there. Kaizumi waiting a little too long with the football. And before she can make a decision, Ford is there right up in her grill, right up in her business. And that is going to play out very well. Very nice series there for the Vultures, who really gave St. Louis nowhere to go on that drive.
So with 1:05 to go in the first quarter, will Cincinnati finally be able to get some offense going? They've done next to nothing in this quarter, and next to nothing on that return. Vegas will get the ball after just 30 yards in the first quarter with the lead thanks to that pick 6.
Vegas and Dakota already in the second quarter. Frank Stearns and company back on the field, handing off to Jack Nitro, 1,000-yard rusher during the regular season. He gets a couple running to the right side on 1st down. Nitro, I feel like, is a guy that brings a lot of balance to this Vegas offense, especially when you have a team with the lead. And we saw Vegas play against Salt Lake in the regular season finale and keeping up with them until they had two very poorly timed turnovers, a pick six and a scoop and score in the closing minutes of the first half in the game that I thought they were looking to be very competitive in as they lead right now facing Dakota.
That was wild stuff, and finally Mac Chima able to get things moving down the field. T-Roy Gaines for 22 yards and a first down. First time Cincinnati has moved the chains tonight as Stearns on a 3rd down and 5 will connect, and Dakota's defense there to wrap up quickly. 1 yard shy of the sticks, probably a punt coming there. A beautiful wrap-up tackle from Montgomery.
Yeah, I feel like that pick six woke Dakota up. The defense has come alive. The offense managed to get the ball down the field. I feel like the volume in Dakota right now is just being gradually turned up by the home team that took care of business with an 11-5 record during the regular season. They took a 5-game win streak into the summer and were just so down the stretch, but the schedule did get a lot tougher for the Rhinos. I feel like they're battle-tested as they head into the postseason.
Vegas will punt it away. Dakota at the 19. It's a big 3rd down and 8 coming up for Cincinnati, but they're going to hit the end of the quarter before we can get to it. They'll literally have to go 2 yards to flip the field, Josh. You always love that.
Yeah, it's nice. It saves on travel expenses.
7-0 St. Louis. We've had plenty of travel expenses with our 2 long touchdowns tonight. Nothing short as Coco gets a catch for 4 yards for Dakota. Chima slings that one over, but doesn't get any gain. 3 of 8 for 26 yards. Still trying to figure out this Rivermen defense. T-Roy Gaines with the catch.
Yeah, Rivermen flying to the ball right now, and Chima, with a lot of time to throw, decides to go ahead and check it down to Gaines. Gaines has nowhere to go either. And I didn't get the number on that defender, but that is outstanding open field tackling, getting Gaines out of the boundary. Cincinnati's got some work to do too, and you better get to it.
Nice move by Larry Seitz on the sideline. Gets a first down. Another Cincinnati punt, their 3rd of the game so far. Flag will dump that off short and actually lose a yard in the flat. He's 9 of 10 for 89 yards to start. His only incompletion, Josh, the pick six that gave Vegas 7 points.
Well, that incompletion is pretty significant, obviously, but Flag, seeming to find a rhythm here in the shotgun. Very clear that the offense today is going to run through Billy Flag, but Lions might have something to say about that.
The 40 yards on 7 carries, and the shoulder-padded running back picks up the first down for Dakota. All kinds of room. Don't see that out of Vegas often.
No, if he wasn't wearing those heavy shoulder pads, he might have gone for another 5 or 6 yards more. Trying to hit the spin move, doesn't quite get there, but plenty of green grass to get a nice gain. And Dakota starting to break things open. You really just have no idea who to cover when Dakota's got the ball.
Ernest McCray face planted by Nathan Brady the 4th. Cincinnati been all over the St. Louis running game. Billy Flag going to take off and run on a first down, and Ted Higgins rushed at the 49-yard line, but hangs on just shy of the first down. That was a brutal hit. Koizumi brought down by Ingram. It's 4th down, St. Louis.
Yeah, Damon Carafel for Vegas saying, hey, remember me? I stopped you short of the goal line before. I'm going to stop you short of the first down now.
Play fake.
There he goes
Flag
again.
Says, I want some more. I lost the ball. Vegas recovers on another Dakota turnover, and Carafel with the fumble recovery.
David Carafel is taking this Dakota offense apart all by himself. Billy Flag says, I'm going to run with it. David Carafel says, no, you're not. Ball is on the ground, and 3 white shirts fall on it. And Vegas looks like they have a chance to run away with this thing.
That fumble forced by Josh Bridge. So the safeties for Vegas are coming up huge for the Devils so far, and they got the football back with a 7-3 lead. Cincinnati, 3 offensive possessions, 3 punts, 1 first down. They got to get moving. They'll start in the empty.
Dima knows he could throw against this team. He just got to take care of the football. And strong start to the drive there. Gets 7 yards on first down. Vegas, meanwhile, their offense back on the field. Frank Stearns got to be loving life right now as we're about to hit the halfway point of the second quarter. Fullback in the game for Vegas. Stearns is going to unleash the dragon into the end zone, and that is picked off. The Dakota answers with a turnover of their own.
Rick Kuhn, the star of this secondary, as that pass was caught on the sideline by Byleth Thomas for Cincinnati, moving the chains, but Stearns tried to take the top off and really tried to put Dakota away early on in this one, Josh, and it backfired. Arm punt.
Yeah, you can't win a game in the second quarter, but maybe you can lose it. Ethan Flowers, not much of a flail there to make the deflection, and Kuhn, credit for getting both feet in bounds. And just like that, Dakota has new life on the offensive side of the ball.
St. Louis was challenging that catch from Cincinnati. I'm not really sure what they saw because Thomas was wide open, and St. Louis is going to lose that challenge. Billy Flagg, unafraid, and he just gets walloped again. That was Carlful and Cumberland on the tackle.
I mean, some people never learn, and if you've got a single bar face mask, that's a good sign that maybe you're not learning as much as you should be. Flagg, though, showing absolute chutzpah, laughing in the face of this Vegas defense, and there he goes again.
Billy
turning upfield.
Oh, and right in front of Carafel. He slides down. There goes Cincinnati. Inside the 10-yard line. That's Allinger, the third on just his second carry. All the way down to the 6-yard line. First down, Cincinnati.
You know it's a party when Al Ingram III finally shows up, and now first and goal for the Vultures, looking for a chance to tie. The big reason that the Vultures were so successful in the first half and the last third of the season was they had a capable run game that ran through that man, number 20 right there, Al Ingram III.
Play fake, Billy Flagg tries to go again and is buried in the backfield by Alves. And I know Alves made that tackle, but Vegas's linebacking duo of Carful and Cumberland I've seen on almost every play this game. Chima wide open, 6-yard touchdown for Cincinnati.
The Vultures answer, and they will tie pending the extra point. Warren Murray, just a little post route over the middle. Should cover that guy. He's pretty good. Great hands, great score. Cincinnati with a great answer to the Rivermen.
Man, Murray, he was a red zone threat. When Cincinnati started 6-0, it felt like Murray was a touchdown machine. They got back to that, and they got back to him in the playoffs. And it is now 7-7. Cincinnati weathers the early storm. They gave up a touchdown, a 62-yard score on the third play of the game. St. Louis has not scored since. Now we're tied. $5 super chat from Jesse. Long live the UFL. 3rd and 18, Dakota.
Let's go, defense. Let's get out the field.
Billy Flagg back at the shotgun. Here comes the blitz. Tries to dump it off on a screen. It sights, makes the catch, but has nowhere to go. And after the interception, it's going to be a 3-and-out for Dakota. And Vegas holds on defense. You could see the whole militia coming after him. And Sights acts like he's got someplace to go, but that was blown up. That was Malcolm Grove. No, that wasn't. Excuse me. I think that was Myers for Vegas getting in there. And now the Devils will get the ball back. And St. Louis getting the ball back here at Cincinnati with just under 9 to play in the first half.
Since Dakota got that field goal, Josh, the defenses in Sioux Falls have been, I mean, just a treat to watch. Both teams hitting hard, making big plays, and I think we're getting what we expected in that one with 2 defensive fronts that have a lot of big names on them.
Yeah, absolutely. You can really feel the value of the claimed players that have been accumulating value and honing their craft over the course of the season as Vegas converts on their first down, first play of their drive.
Stearns gets that out to Dylan White. And it's love for the tight ends, Josh, because Homer J with the catch for St. Louis on the other side. Big number 86 and 88 making it happen. So now St. Louis at the 2nd and short of the 35.
Yeah, in big games like this, defenses figure out a way to take away your top guys. So second and third wide receivers and tight ends, especially in short yardage and red zone situations, really need to find ways to contribute, as that's Jack Nitro getting blown up in the backfield. That was Menachem Fister. And you can see he just gets off his block. Malachi was there first, and then Menachem. I think all the Fisters were in there at one point. The plethora of Fisters. Second and 12.
With that 7-8-9, they should be on Sesame Street teaching kids how to count. Second and 12.
Yeah.
Jack Nitro, look at the space. First down in midfield, picking up 20.
And that's the Jack Nitro problem. You stop him on one play, he keeps going for the next. And he doubly so when you give him nothing but green grass, and there's just nobody to catch him. Out the midfield.
Koizumi was just picked off. Nathan Brady, the fourth, takes this away. It was tight coverage, stepped in front of the antenna receiver, and the big linebacker comes up to make a play for the Vultures. First turnover of the game for St. Louis, and Cincinnati has flipped this game on its head. 2-minute warning in Dakota.
Yeah, and a great spot on the field for Cincinnati, too, giving St. Louis a shorter field to defend. Al Ingram might be a factor in here. They are in plus territory over the 50-yard line. Mac Chima, if he was salivating at the mouth now, he could totally be forgiven for that, because this is an appetizing opportunity for the Vultures.
Ingram is going to be dropped in the backfield, and Stearns will deliver a completion to the Dakota 27-yard line. His 9th completion of the day. Braylon Battle with the catch. Vegas over 100 yards of offense. First down with 1:43 to go in the first half.
Yeah, and if Ethan Flowers is wide receiver 1, Braylon Battle is receiver 1A, because these guys have been neck and neck in all the stats all year, in catches and total yards and touchdowns. Maybe one of the better competitions in the entire UFL is happening on one team in the Las Vegas wide receiver room.
Ingram the third again on a carry for Cincinnati. They're trying to get at the football. David Glitton down to the 2-yard line. Red zone for Vegas. First and goal.
And how great would this be for Vegas to get points at the end of the half? Frank Stearns once again a clean pocket. And Glidden just right there. Makes the catch, brings it in, takes contact, doesn't care. I got us a first and goal. I'm loving life.
3rd and 10 for Cincinnati, and they just kind of dumped it off. Only picked up 2. That's not what they were looking for. First down and goal at the 2-yard line. This is Stearns, and he's going to be sacked immediately. Provost off the edge makes the play for a loss of 3.
LC Provost coming in. We love it when defensive backs disrupt in the backfield. And he is like, I don't know if he's off the edge or like inside the edge. I mean, I can't see him from this vantage point, but getting a clean shot on Frank Stearns. He was in there in a jiffy. And admire the chutzpah of Dakota sending a corner blitz on first and goal.
2nd and goal. Blitz picked up this time. Stearns in zone, almost intercepted. Jumping in front of that route. 10 of 14 now is a Stearns, but jumping in front of that route was Deontay Beasley.
Yeah, Dakota once again threatening to make their second interception of the game in the end zone, actually. And now Stearns on 3rd down. Nothing but time's going to take it himself to the 5, down to the 2. And we got a timeout from Dakota trying to save some time for them to engineer one more bite at the apple here in the first half.
We'll see what Vegas does. 4th and goal at the 2. They could go for it. They could take the points, go up 10-3. It's the playoffs, baby. What would you do?
I think this is a prudent move. Go up by a touchdown. If your defense can hold for 40 seconds. 7-point lead in the postseason is pretty big. Koizumi coming up pretty big on the right side of your screen, making a big catch. A gain of 26. And St. Louis looking for a little separation at the end of the first half.
19-10 off the board off that 19-yard field goal. Vegas goes up 10-3. And that pass caught by Haggins, who has the most recent kick return in UFL history. St. Louis trying to get back going after they've been pretty sluggish since that opening drive.
Well, they have. Cincinnati answered the bell, and now the momentum maybe sliding a little bit toward that Riverman sideline. As the clock ticks away just over 4 minutes to play, Kaizumi under center here. Will hand it off, and Junior McRae with a room to roam. Gets his team onto the cusp of field goal range with just over 4 to play.
McRae more yardage on that run than he's had this entire first half, as St. Louis finally finds a running lane with Cincinnati. It was a big one too.
Yeah, great blocking up front. Jackson Crosby, the center, making a great block up front. And McRae wasn't touched for the first 10, 12 yards of that run. And Kaizumi knows that she can get some more points if you just get another first down.
3:38 to go in the first half. McRae tried to get it outside and lost 3 yards. Flag's got 30 seconds to do something with it and finds Tony Horn Jr. on the sideline. Flag still with just that one incompletion in this half. That'll stop the clock with 30 seconds to go on the 47-yard line.
Doing a lot with his legs, but this time with his arm, and that's a great post route, or corner route, excuse me, by Horn. And look who's defending him. It's Damon Carafel. We finally found the one thing that Damon Carafel can't do, and that's cover the tight end on the corner route.
McRae again in the backfield. Actually, it's Clements sparing him. 3rd and 16 coming up for St. Louis's Flag again to the sideline, stops the clock. This is perfect 2-minute execution. Coco with that last catch, and Dakota holding on to those timeouts.
I love watching a 2-minute drill when the quarterback just calmly walks back to the huddle and tries to orchestrate the next play. That big chutzpah throw there. Great job getting 2 feet in. Coco, all about it, no question. This is the stuff the playoff dreams are made of. Kaizumi, meanwhile, looking for some playoff dreams of her own, throwing to the corner, and that is incomplete. Fortunately, I think, 4th down.
Now 1st down for Dakota, 22 seconds left. Flag gonna try to take off and run. He's sacked again. Timeout for Dakota as they have to reset with 19 seconds left.
And Flag just ran right into the defender, and Vegas is just fine with that. 2nd and 15, you got 2nd down, maybe 3rd down. But it's time to start thinking about what kind of points you're going to walk away with. When you're on the 44-yard line, you need at least one more first down to have a real shot at a field goal here.
St. Louis just went for a 59-yard field goal, and it had the distance. Look at this kick, Josh, but it was wide left. I mean, he absolutely cracked that football. That was definitely going to be good, but missed it. Now Cincinnati's got some decent field goal range before the half. Dakota's got to burn their last timeout. It's going to be a 56-yarder for Horn.
How amazing would that be? And that, I can't believe how close that was from the logo. It had the steam, but not the rudder. And now Chima might get 7 points here. All the time in the world. The clock is absolutely his friend at this point.
Completes that one to Ingram, the 3rd out of the backfield, so a 56-yarder for Horn to try to make it 10-6 at the break, and Horn's kick is off to the right and no good. So with 1 second left, Vegas will take over. Dakota comes up empty. Horn has struggled from distance despite what he feels like is, a pretty good opportunity at some deep kicks. It's been kind of a thing for Dakota all year long. They haven't been able to figure it out. It looks like Vegas is going to take a 7-point lead heading into the half, while Cincinnati will have an opportunity at points in the 2-minute offense.
You don't see a lot of missed field goals in UFL games, let alone 2 back-to-back, but you just saw it there. That's playoff football, baby.
That's it, baby.
10-3, Vegas at the half over Dakota. The only touchdown there is a pick 6 for Vegas's defense, as Cincinnati is in the red zone now at the 20-yard line of St. Louis with 90 seconds to go. Matt Green with his first catch. You see the first half stats in Dakota: 108 passing, 82 rushing for the Rhinos. Solid half, but just one major mistake.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, Vegas is not the team you need to be making those mistakes against. Billy Flag, the only blemish is right there. That pick 6, and Vegas capitalized as you need to do when you get opportunities like that in the postseason. And Vegas deserving that lead at this point.
Chima over the middle to Thomas, down to the 8-yard line. So 1st down and goal, Cincinnati. Coming up, St. Louis scored on the 3rd play of the game. They have not scored since. Cincinnati looking for their first lead of the night.
And I know we're bouncing back and forth here, but St. Louis does not seem to be getting pressure on Chima at all. He is pitching and catching, finding his receivers with ease. And St. Louis, if they want to keep him out of the end zone, They got to find a way to get in that backfield and put Mac Chima on his back and get that jersey dirty a little bit.
And Maple Mac's going to be the guy to do it. Mac on Mac crime potentially in this matchup. First and goal at the 8. Dynamite McCray, the league's highest graded free safety with that last tackle. Chima into the end zone. What a collision! The pass is incomplete, as it looked like Murray was the head-on of that car crash.
Yeah, fired in there, Murray into a very tight window, and that was bobbled around a little bit. Chima probably thanking his lucky stars that hit the turf.
Max, second and goal. Dumps it off, and it is dropped. Looked like Gaines was the intended target. Third down.
I think you got to give Al Ingram a shot here. I know you're 8 yards out, but the passing is locked down. Chima's looking a little rattled right now. Give your running back a chance while everybody's focused on the pass.
Third and goal. Chima gonna take off and run. Had some space around the right side. And slid short of the end zone. Timeout St. Louis, it's fourth and goal. Flag is sacked again.
1 yard, probably not even a yard, maybe half a yard. I wouldn't be surprised when we see a review from a booth because I thought he was in. But now you need maybe an inch.
They're going.
And I agree with the decision. Chima in the shotgun, I don't know if I agree with that. Ingram in the backfield with him. Ingram gets the call, he's blown up in the backfield. St. Louis will get the ball back on downs.
Flag is sacked at the 4. Another sack for Vegas. Musis in the backfield. So St. Louis comes up with a monster goal line stand. All Dakota's doing is going backwards here in the third quarter. The defenses are feasting right now.
And Flag's got to get rid of that ball. You see a gigantic man wearing a number with the 90s that weighs 303 pounds. You make sure he doesn't hit you. Get rid of that ball. And now Flag down inside the, looked like the 2.
4th and 29.
Look where the punter is.
Watch
Not
out.
even 10 yards. It was blocked.
They hit him.
Unbelievable.
That's going to be a
No
first
way.
down.
No way. That's on. How do you call that in that spot?
We haven't seen that all season. That on 4th and 29, first down Dakota.
Wow. The first is automatic. The yardage would be 15 yards, so it's only going to come out to, looks like the 19. Billy Flag with a brand new lease on life, and I do not agree with that at all.
Flag hands it off to Seitz. There he goes. Seitz up to the 31. And now all of a sudden Dakota has some momentum. Stats pretty even in that first half. Cincinnati and St. Louis 10-3, 7-7. This is playoff football.
Yeah, and that's the break that Dakota absolutely needed. And now you could just feel the field tilting for Dakota as Liam Seitz is running literally downhill at this point. We're looking at first half highlights in the St. Louis-Cincinnati game. Fantastic matchup, knotted at 7. And that man, Mac Chima, who threw for 303 yards against this team during the regular season, but had 3 interceptions, has done a nice job of taking care of the football so far. Warren Murray, the only touchdown for the Vultures at this point.
Seitz with the absolutely brutal hit on him in the backfield will set up a 3rd down and 8 coming up for Dakota. That is just another play in the backfield made by this Vegas squad, and he's just unblocked.
Yeah, Stephon Bledsoe. When DBs come up and play the run, it is incredibly disruptive. You love to see it. And now Flag in the shotgun here. Might have to make something happen with his arm, or worst comes to worst, his legs. Wow, and throws it to Seitz short of the marker, and he can't get there. Avery Cumberland blowing up that play. Questionable decision to throw it to your running back and make him beat 4 yards. That's not exactly Liam Seitz's game, at least what he's known for. And it looks like Dakota's going to punt this away again. Meanwhile, at Cincinnati, Mac Chima finds his receiver, and the Vultures offense humming as he gets another fresh set of downs. Dakota will punt.
His Vegas linebackers have been spectacular. This punt is going to go into the end zone. So we'll pick up Cincinnati on a first down and 10 to the 43. Jesse Fritz, $5 super chat. The refs giveth. The refs taketh away. The handoff to Al Ingram, the third, up to the 49-yard line. 39 yards on 6 carries. He's fresh as Frank Stearns starts again with a football. Vegas on upset alert. Here on the road, up 7 still. Jack Nitro got away from 1. A little dazed and confused, picks up 3. Chima on a 2nd and 4. Is going to be taken down, lost the ball. Picked up by Cincinnati, and rumbling for a loss of 8. Dynamite McCray ends up making the tackle.
And that was Lamonte James, the right guard, who saves the day, scoops it up, says, hey, I could run with this. And St. Louis says, no, you can't. And he's brought down for a loss. Got away with a hold there, it looked like, too. But Cincinnati, things were starting to go right. Takes a sack and a fumble.
Stearns on a play action. I don't know how he squeezed that in there on 3rd down and 2, but picks up a first down to Welch. His first catch. Maple Mack, who had a sack earlier in the game, forced that fumble on Chima. St. Louis bringing a little heat. It's picked up, and Chima's pass is overthrown. There's a penalty, though. It's 3rd and 12, and it's PI on St. Louis. That's a fresh set of downs.
The officiating making its presence felt in these playoffs in a way that I've not seen during the regular season. And Cincinnati will get a fresh lease on life and a fresh set of downs.
And another flag, Josh. It's a face mask on St. Louis. Back-to-back personal fouls. Another Vulture first down, this one on Emmanuel Edwards.
This is unbelievable. I'm going to need to see a replay on this. As the Cincinnati Vultures offense moves with a little subsidy from central planning, as the officials have put the Vultures in field goal range.
2nd down and 8. Vegas has a first down to the Dakota 45. There goes Ingram into the red zone to the 14-yard line, averaging 7 yards a carry. He barely touched the ball in the first quarter.
He's touching the ball now and making some noise and scampering into the heart of that St. Louis defense. We need to see more of this. Just go north and south. You don't need to go off tackle. You don't need to toss it or make it fancy. Put your guys against their guys and go get it.
Number 53, Mike 53. And let's get this.
1st and 10 of the 14. Chima going to hand it off. That's Ingram, the 3rd, down to the 11. First down for Vegas right now into Dakota territory, and picked up and thrown down. That's another Fister in there on the tackle.
It's Mordecai Fister, number 8, 6'1", 296. What I love is all the Fisters went to 3 different schools. Did they not want to spend time together in the institutions of higher learning? I guess not.
Crawford on the carry, picking up 7. 1st and goal at the 3 now for Cincinnati. Remember, at the end of the first half, the Vultures had an opportunity on 4th and goal. They failed to score. 1st and goal at the 3. Chima hands it off. Al Ingram along the left side. Touchdown. Vultures take their first lead of the night.
I was very critical of Cincinnati during that last goal line series you mentioned, Cam, not getting the ball to Ingram sooner. They recognize a mistake. They give it to Ingram. They're going off tackle. Great blocking up front. Cincinnati takes the lead.
3rd and 12 coming up for Vegas now. You hear the foghorn in Sioux Falls. 4:50 to go in the 3rd. Stearns dropping a throw. Fires. That is caught. Ethan Flowers to the Dakota 26-yard line. Stearns is 15 of 20.
The Vegas O-line recognized the blitz. They sent their linebackers in, giving Flowers a chance to get the ball underneath. And credit to Frank Stearns for finding him and getting a renewed set of downs here. Great catch and run.
Extra point is good. A little premature on the Hugo call, but it all worked out. 14 off the board. Al Ingram on that drive, 4 carries, 20 yards, and a touchdown. Hugo a little bit hard to come by, at least here in the opening block. Cincinnati up 14-7 over St. Louis. Vegas up 10-3 over Dakota. They are driving inside the 30-yard line. They'll dump it off to Welch at the 23-yard line.
Vegas wants to take care of the ball here. A 10-point lead at this point in the game would feel like 30. Stearns doing a nice job managing the risk here. No reason to get too crazy. Although going empty here in 2nd and 7 may change his mind.
Still no offensive touchdowns in that game as Stearns' pass incomplete, sailed on him, 3rd and 7.
Yeah, Vegas again picking up that Dakota blitz, doing a nice job. They're sending 6 guys in there, and that Vegas O-line picking everybody up. Well done. There it is again. And it's Nitro this time on the catch. It's going to be 1st and goal Vegas. Dakota continuing to send pressure, and Vegas continuing to turn it away as the Devils looking to extend their lead.
Nitro dumps, Stearns dumps that off on a little Texas route to Nitro. Koizumi's going split backs here. St. Louis still stuck on 7 as Junior McCray gets lit up.
And the East and West rushing is not working for St. Louis at all. The Vultures are doing a nice job of blowing that up. They're getting penetration on the edge, and they're meeting the backs at the point of attack behind the line of scrimmage.
Another penalty. This is a false start on Vegas. Koizumi's pass on 3rd and 10 had an open receiver, but incomplete. Karen's now 7 of 15. The wheels are wobbling. St. Louis has to punt as Stearns also misfires.
Yeah, this one by Koizumi. This was amazing because the receiver's right there. And I can't see exactly who that is. I think that's Marcus Higgins again. But that's a throw, and Koizumi would be the first one to tell you that's one she's got to make. And a missed opportunity there for St. Louis.
3rd down and goal coming up at the 9. Suki Padre makes the tackle. You see Ingram's updated numbers on the right-hand side. This is a critical moment in this game. 3rd and goal at the 9, 2:32 to go in the 3rd quarter. Stearns going to drop the throw, fires just shy of the end zone, and the receiver almost tried to stretch it across the goal line before he had possession. Another crushing hit for St. Louis causes an incompletion, but it's going to be 4th down and goal for the Devils.
It's Dedrick Wright, the 2nd-string running back, trying to make a 1st-string play, and forgot that he has to catch the ball first before he can execute any kind of stretch. And that hits him right in the hands. It bounces right back out. Not much you can do about that, but Vegas, after a good drive, looking to get 3 points here. And as I said, this 10-point lead is more than significant. And a game that, as you mentioned, Cam, has not seen an offensive touchdown yet.
And if you can believe it, this will be our 2nd 26-yard field goal of the night, which is absolutely brutal for the Hugo players, but at least 13 is off the board, and Vegas takes a 13-3 advantage over Dakota in the first of 4 wild card games in the Great West Conference. Coming up later tonight is Phoenix and Salt Lake. We've got Austin and Los Angeles tomorrow, and then Fresno and San Diego coming up tomorrow as well.
And Vegas coach asking about that blocked punt in the end zone, as I would be. Cincinnati, meanwhile, Chima under pressure. It's going to try and dump that off. It looked like a screen to Ingram. And St. Louis, sniffed that out just fine. 2nd and 10.
Poor
I
Josh
feel like this is a
Zirkle. Go ahead, Josh.
I was just going to ask you, Cam, this looks like a make-or-break drive here for Dakota. Time running out here in the 3rd quarter. Trailing by 10, opportunities dwindling. Billy Flagg and friends really got to put together a good drive, and I think they got to do it right now.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And on that last deep shot from Chima, I thought that had a chance down the sideline, but he drifted just out of bounds. So 3rd down and 10 coming up for Cincinnati, trying to stay on the field. They again check it short as Seitz has a 1st down. But we've seen 3rd and long offense has not been kind to Cincinnati, as they'll have to punt again on Byleth Thomas's 6th catch.
Yeah, and once again, the quarterback finding a receiver behind the marker and defense neutralizing him with an outstanding open field tackle. And it's just 3rd and long has really not been kind to any of these teams so far tonight. Stephen Crawford making that stop.
Under 2 to go in the 3rd. Seitz gets to the 41. They've tried to establish that run game. 71 yards on 13 carries as that punt goes out of the end zone. So St. Louis, yet another opportunity here. They have been stale and stagnant on offense. Karen Koizumi just with 7 completions today.
Sights, meanwhile, on the left side. This might be the point in the game, Cam, where he starts to break some of those open. And 14 carries at this point in the game for a guy who loves to run north and south. Pretty good volume. The problem is you're down by 10 points. And running the ball is not always feasible at that point. Now third down, flag. It's going to unleash the Dragon toward the right side. And the dangerous throw into triple coverage is incomplete. Dakota will punt again.
And that time, very well covered was Monte Harris as Junior McCray, 30 yards on 20 carries. This has been an impressive output from the Vultures' run defense, putting all the pressure on Koizumi. 3rd and 12. That's not what St. Louis likes to do.
No, the corners and the outside linebackers, Zach Wilson right there making that stop. They've done a great job of just shutting down the St. Louis skill players. And Koizumi, when she has had opportunities, has kind of let them slip. And now 3rd and long here, Koizumi in a shotgun, trips to her right. 4-man rush, has time, and finds a receiver downfield, depending on where they spot that.
Ooh.
Marquez Higgins might have a first down. They're going to spot it short.
Wow, that was close. Another close call.
And you can see it, ball's in front of me. It's coming back toward the quarterback. I think that's a good spot. I know we're looking at field level angles here, but just in my first blush, I did not think that he had the first down. They're going to punt it. That's a surprise.
And on their own 30, it would be tough. Down just 7, so they will punt it away. Nitro with a carry to end the 3rd quarter already in Dakota. 3rd down and 5. Coming up for Vegas, the Devils trying to pull the upset. They lead the Rhinos 13-3 at the end of the 3rd quarter in their first meeting for all the marbles to move on to the Great West Conference semifinals.
And this would be a legitimate upset. Dakota, who controlled their own destiny for most of the season, wound up winning the Northern Division. They're the only team in that division to finish the season with a winning record. And it looks like they may be finishing the playoffs with a losing record if they don't find an answer to Frank Stearns in this offense.
Suki Padre nearly took that one back the other way. Intended for the tight end for Vegas.
And now Dakota will get the ball back.
And a bobbled snap and nearly blocked. Dakota will get it back at the 25-yard line, 11:51 to go. Big 3rd and 3 coming up for the Vultures. They've struggled on 3rd down.
They have, as everybody else has. Let's see if Chima can make a connection here. He does. Finding T-Roy Gaines. That's a good way to get out of a slump. Just get T-Roy the ball.
3rd catch for 35 yards, under 3 to go in the 3rd quarter. As Flag drops to throw, that pass is incomplete. How are we liking the dual playoff look at around the league? Josh, I think you and I are adjusting quite well.
Yeah, I think it's the right amount of football. I can watch. It's like I have 2 TVs in my house. I'm loving it so much. Chima going back over the middle. That's incomplete.
Flag gets a first down. Coco with that catch up to the 38-yard line.
Dakota's got the horses here. That's the thing that everybody understands. They would prefer to run the ball here, but Billy Flag is really going to have to rip a couple here. And Sights on the underneath throw is tackled in bounds. The clock continues to run, and now less than 11 minutes to play. And Dakota needs 2 scores, and they need 1 relatively soon.
Here comes another third down and 10 for Max Shima and the Vultures. And again, they fire short of the sticks, and it's 4th and 9. They have just not been good. Wow, what a juke. That's the big man, Sights, with a first down to the Vegas 35. Here come the rumbling Rhinos.
And I got to take a look at this. The screen pass they actually executed, and oh, the whiff. That's pretty great when the Damon Carafel has been ruining your thoughts and dreams all the time. Woof, just tackles nothing but air. And then why not make that into the matrix? Sidestep, fantastic catch and run.
Coming up in about half an hour's time, Rochester, Dallas, Phoenix, Salt Lake as the UFL inaugural playoffs roll on. Another screen. This one not to Seitz as Seitz is out for a break. Flag is now 18 of 22. Dakota really like what they're doing here. Higbee with the catch because Vegas has been so aggressive in the backfield, they're using it against him.
Yeah, and they needed to do that maybe a quarter ago, but J.R. Lyons, I think, the backup halfback with a nice effort there. And will stay in the game and make this catch to get him on the cusp of the red zone.
Out of the backfield again. There goes McCray. First down to the 38. Finally, Junior McCray with some rushing yards, up to about 2 yards a carry. It's first down for St. Louis, down 14-7 with 1:08 to go in the third. Back to Dakota.
And Seitz back in the game, and he gets the call up the middle, and that is detonated immediately by the very stout St. Louis defense. Dierez Alves, fourth-year player out of Notre Dame, making the stop, 2nd and 12. And this is what I want them doing, running north and south, but that one just got blowed up by some terrific linebacker play.
Koizumi on first
Koizumi, meanwhile,
on 1st and 10 goes empty and dumps that one off short just for a couple. 2nd and 6 coming up, but back to Dakota on 2nd and 12.
Flag in the shotgun. Another catch, and that is T.J. Horn Jr. And now they are officially in the red zone, but 3rd and 4.
8:08 to go in the fourth, Josh. You got to get some points here if you're the Rhinos.
Something here. It also mitigates what you're willing to do. You got to come away with 3. So how risky can you be at this point on the field? Flag in the shotgun again. Outside the 10, it's caught. It's going to be 1st and goal. Dakota right where they want to be. That's Eddie Watson.
Another Billy Flag completion. He's been pretty solid all night long for Dakota, and you know, he had happy feet early on in this game, but he's really stood in the pocket strong here as of late as McCray takes a toss out. St. Louis had a delay of game, so that's going to be 3rd down and 4 when they come back from the quarter break. 1st down, Dakota.
Flag gonna go to the 2. Not at the 2. Another outstanding up and field tackle. I think that was Alves again. 2nd and goal.
Down to 7 minutes to go in the fourth in Dakota. Karen Koizumi on a 3rd and 4. Incomplete, so St. Louis at the punt again. 2nd and goal. Flag. Wide open. Tony Horn. Touchdown from 2 yards out. Dakota's back in it.
And that's as open as it gets. Tony Horn just a little 5 and out. Shaking that defender off. And it looked like that Stephon Bledsoe was looking for the post route, and Horn just had him turned around. There's nobody there to cover him. And now Dakota right back in this game, Cam.
Extra point pending. That is our first offensive touchdown of Vegas and Dakota today. An 11-play, 76-yard, 5-minute and 15-second drive just when the Rhinos needed it the most. 13-10 Devils.
Vegas probably does not want to shorten the leash of Frank Stearns too much just yet. He's done a nice job of throwing the ball. His offensive line has done a nice job of picking up the blitz. The pass is working for them. Are they willing to stick with it in a 4-minute offense type environment and try and kill some of this 636 and get down the field and maybe get some more points of their own?
11:48 to go in the fourth. It's been a nip and tuck game in Cincinnati. The Vultures have all the momentum right now, but St. Louis is looking for another defensive stand. Clements with his first tackle. Vegas now has to answer with 6:36 to go in the fourth. Rochester, Dallas, Phoenix, Salt Lake coming up at the bottom of the hour.
And big 3rd down for Cincinnati. Mac Chima in the shotgun. Corner blitz, they pick it up. Chima finds T-Roy once again at the 34, and the Vultures drive will live on. They've done a great job this second half of just keeping the ball away from St. Louis with these extended drives.
This time the Vultures able to deliver. Frank Stearns right up the middle is taken down. The Rhinos with a sack. And that's another fister. That's Mordecai making the play up front, just overworking the center.
Yeah, and it's a short drop, and Mordecai does not have a lot of work to do here. He just slides off his blocker. All right, Stearns is right there. The three-step drop. You got to get rid of the ball by that point. But Stearns still has it, and then down he goes.
21st completion for Mac Chima. 2nd down and 6 coming up. No picks, a touchdown for Mac tonight. 2nd down and 14, and Vegas going to get some of that back. Stearns now 19 of 28, but a huge 3rd and 9 upcoming with under 6 to play.
Yeah, I nearly overthrew Dylan White on the route, getting rattled after the sack on the previous play. That's one that really had a chance to be a first down if Stearns give him the ball where he could do something with it. Like that, for example. And that's going to be a first down for Vegas once again. David Glidden, who's been a busy man. It's his 4th catch tonight. And it's Vegas starting to march down the field. Really having a hard time here, Cam, with both of these white teams on my television at the same time.
And listen, another 3rd down and long coming up for Cincinnati. 3rd down and 7. St. Louis certainly putting Cincinnati in precarious positions. They couldn't get off the field last time. Can they get off the field here? They need a stop.
3rd and 7. Chima's going to be in the shotgun. Ingram in the backfield. It's going to go out and around it. And again, dumped short. And again, the defenders keep him from reaching the marker. That was Matt Green. And really, Green just had no chance of converting that. And the Rivermen are going to get the ball back.
Just his 2nd catch. St. Louis gets the stop they needed. Stearns on a little slant. Finds Flowers, 4:15 and counting. Very quickly, time running out on Dakota. They got to get off the field.
Yeah, this is this point where you could start bleeding clock here if you're in Vegas. Flowers, once again, old reliable, making a catch in the middle of the field. Knows he's going to take contact, hangs onto the ball, does not care. Look at the size advantage you have when you're Ethan Flowers. That makes Frank Stearns' job a lot easier. And now here come the Rivermen, Cam.
It's kind of hard to believe.
Led by the River Woman.
It's kind of hard to believe, Josh, that St. Louis is even still in this game. I mean, I can't remember the last time they had a play of over 20 yards on offense, yet they're still only down by 7. Presuming going to take off and run here. Lots of space, and Karen gets 18 on the carry. Nearly got her head taken off. Stearns on a play action, and it's taken down. Menachem Pfister with a huge sack to force 3rd and 17.
And that's a tough spot for Vegas, and that's almost going to guarantee that Dakota gets the ball back. Stearns tries to turn and throw. By then, it's too late because you got Menachem knocking you to the ground, ruining your hopes and dreams of advancing to the next round. You got to get rid of that football, Frank Stearns.
Koizumi, 1st down, pass caught to the Cincinnati 36 with 8 minutes to go. Karen's starting to get a little momentum. 3rd catch of the day for Howes, who had the touchdown earlier. That pass is caught by the tight end for Vegas, but it's not going to be enough for the 1st down. Dakota will call timeout. And that was Dylan White on the catch. The Rhinos will have another opportunity with 2 timeouts and 2:33 left.
We're watching the replay on House's 3rd catch, and I feel like House has made every big play in this game for St. Louis, rightly or wrongly. He might have to make 1 or 2 more here. It's Koizumi on the cusp of field goal range. I don't think 3 points is going to do it.
Got to protect the football. 4 carries, 42 yards. Naisha Ingram with the tackle, one of Cincinnati's best defenders in the secondary, her 5th. Flag with just 4 incompletions today, but the Rhinos trail 13-10. A 2nd down and 5 for St. Louis as Karen's pass is caught. Enough for the 1st down.
Yeah, Camille Wells getting in there. And St. Louis, plenty of time, but you got to come away with something here, whether it's 3 or 7 or 8.
Their 51st offensive play is a Karen Koizumi run into the red zone. St. Louis, 6:18 to go, down 7 with a chance to tie.
Kaizumi showing real leadership here, knowing that she's got to get yardage no matter what happens. And getting a nice gain to keep her team on schedule on first down. And Billy Flagg doing much of the same here in Dakota as he runs for a first down with 1:50 to play. The clock continues to run.
Well, how about this in the playoffs, Josh? Billy Flagg and Karen Koizumi on our screen at the same time. Both teams trailing, both quarterbacks using their legs to try to make something happen. As Flagg's pass is incomplete, Karen on a 3rd down and 3 is going to take off and run up the middle, and is taken down, sacked by Ari. 4th and 8 for St. Louis. I think you got to go for it.
Well, 5.5 left. You've got all your timeouts. You might want to think about using one of those now, or at least punting it. Meanwhile, Dakota, Billy Flagg fights off a defender and throws it. It's a first down into midfield. Look at the amazing stick-to-itiveness of Billy Flagg.
That might be the play of the season, Josh. Look at Flagg shaking off a tackle, finding Horn on the Vegas sideline. He's able to turn upfield, and actually St. Louis will kick the field goal with 5 minutes to go. They're trailing 14-7. This is a 39-yard field goal attempt. That puts them down 4. You like that? A touchdown now wins the game.
Yeah, I like it. You've got 3 timeouts. Your defense has actually been playing pretty well in the second half. You absolutely need to stop. And if you could get that, or even just a short drive, you're going to be in a position to win.
Billy Flagg just got it up to the 38-yard line. It would be a 55-yard field goal to tie. Dakota has 2 timeouts and 1:08 left. They are in the no huddle. St. Louis now trails by 4, 14-10 with 4:56 to go. They need another stop. That pass is caught by Horn. Down to the 28, 1 minute left in Dakota.
Still in bounds, clock continues to run. And Flagg knows that 3 points will tie the game. Probably within the range of his kicker, Jack A.J. Horn, but he's going to take a shot, and he's going to connect inside the 10-yard line. That's Tony T.J. Horn Jr.
And now Dakota could win the game with a touchdown. They're just 7 yards away. 2 timeouts, 25 seconds to go in the 4th quarter. St. Louis also looking for a stop. Flagg dropping a throw. Flagg looking for somebody to get open. Will take off and run. And Flagg is cut down to the 8-yard line. Timeout Dakota with 17 seconds left. They only have 1 left.
And that takes away a lot of play calling opportunities. You can't run it. You can't take a sack. And you've got to be in a situation where if you need to compromise and get that field goal, that you have that timeout to get your unit out there. So a lot of the playbook comes out now here on 2nd and goal. Four-man rush. Flagg's going to tuck it again to the 5, to the 1, and blasted in his face by guess who? David Carafel.
And on 3rd down and 10, Cincinnati just overthrew. Chima just overthrew back-to-back receivers. It's 4th down. St. Louis is going to get the ball back with 4:15 to go. Do you go for the tie in overtime or for the win? 1 yard out.
I think you got to kick it. I think you got to kick it. Vegas's defense has gotten penetration when they need it. I think this is the right call.
An 18-yard kick to tie the game in Sioux Falls. Got it. 3 seconds left. Cincinnati to punt. And the Rivermen got a shot with 4:06 to go.
And that St. Louis offense just starting to wake up. Kaizumi got her team down the field. They still need to find an answer for Junior McCray to get him involved. It has not been a great game for him, but has he taken enough volume to this point where he's got anything left to offer? It looks like they're going to leave him on the field to start this drive.
Does Vegas have some special teams magic with 3 seconds left as Koizumi dumps that off to the sideline, but it's incomplete. 2nd down.
Dakota will kick this deep. And I expect we'll see some kind of a return.
And our first game in UFL playoff history is going to overtime. Koizumi, 1st down to the 46-yard line. 14-yard pickup for Homer J. Rivermen on the march.
And if 2 games at the same time wasn't enough, how about 5 quarters of one of those games? which absolutely, I kind of hope this game just doesn't end. This has been fantastic. Vegas is playing out of their minds. Dakota seems to have finally found an answer on the offensive side. And I imagine this coin flip is going to have some serious ramifications, Cam.
And it looks like Vegas is going to get the ball first. The touchdown wins the game as Koizumi's got that completion up to the Cincinnati 49-yard line with 3:18 to go. Wells with his fourth catch.
Vegas will take a knee on this kickoff to open overtime and get the ball out at the 25-yard line. That's where Frank Stearns will take over. Jack Nitro is still relatively fresh, not a lot of volume for the running back so far. And of course, Stearns still has his full complement of receivers. Nitro will be on the sideline to start this drive. Stearns in the shotgun. 5 DBs on the field for Dakota. Here comes the blitz, and Stearns goes down. Right out of the gate, Dakota getting pressure on the Vegas quarterback as Pierce brings him to the turf.
Pierce with a DB blitz. That's the 10th total sack of the game. Vegas has 6, Dakota now with 4. Rhinos doing it unconventionally. St. Louis first down to the Cincinnati 32 with 2:18 to go in the fourth quarter. They need a touchdown. A field goal won't do anything for them. Homer Jay all the way down to the 17.
And I don't know if Jay meant to stop the clock or not, but 2:14, all kinds of time for St. Louis. A great throw by Koizumi, great route by Jay, and just scampering on the green grass in front of him. St. Louis with a real opportunity here.
2nd and 18, the handoff to Nitro, nothing doing there, so 3rd and very long coming up for Vegas, but right now it's a first down and 10 for St. Louis. 2:14 to go in the fourth. Play fake, Koizumi fires, bottom of the screen, caught, 1st and goal at the 5.
And they're going to spot forward progress. That'll get us to the 2-minute warning in Cincinnati.
Flowers almost got the first down, but it looks like Rick Kuhn came over to make the stop for Dakota on the opening possession of overtime.
Well, that catch still helps. You add a little yardage to the punt, and you take away some of that field position Dakota would have had after the sack. And you got to put Billy Flagg as far back as you can.
Ooh, Koizumi tried to squeeze that into the end zone. Now it's 2nd and goal at the 5. 1:58 to go. Vegas gets the punt away. Now it's the next score wins in the home of the Rhinos. 2nd and goal at the 5 for St. Louis. Koizumi fires and almost breaking 2 tackles was Jay, but cut down to the 3, 3rd and goal.
And I thought Jay was going to bust that and be able to turn upfield. I like the route. You got a couple yards to go. This opens up the playbook, but Koizumi the shotgun. 4-man rush to the end zone. Caught, touchdown! The Rivermen have done it.
Camille Wells, unbelievable, Josh. St. Louis scores, what is that, 10 unanswered points to take a 17-14 lead. They scored 7 points, 3 plays into the game. They scored 10 points on their final 2 drives of the fourth quarter, and with 1:35 to go, it puts Cincinnati on death's doornail. Another penalty, this one on Dakota. It'll be 2nd down and 12 for the Rhinos. Coach is furious.
Understandably. Not a place where you can make mistakes. You got a chance to get down the field. Stuck at your own 25. Seitz is going to get blown up in the backfield. Guess who? Carafell. All up in your business. Now 3rd and long for the Rhinos.
Coming up at the bottom of the hour, whether we're ready or not, Dallas, Rochester, Phoenix, and Salt Lake. As Cincinnati aims for the tie, Dakota and Vegas trying to break the tie. Cincinnati could also win with a touchdown. Deep shot down the field is overthrown on 3rd and 12. Dakota had it.
That was there. That was absolutely there. Flag got it. Just a little too much juice on that goose. But that is right there. Perfect trajectory. Just trying to drop in the bread basket, but nobody had that much bread. Can't make out who the receiver was, but that is absolutely missed opportunity. I think it was Monte Harris. And now Dakota will punt.
Both teams with stops in overtime. Cincinnati wins it with a touchdown, ties it with a field goal. Mac Chima all day to throw. Mac Green to the St. Louis 44-yard line. First down, Cincinnati. They're almost in field goal range.
Yeah, now Cincinnati has the clock as their friend. As time ticks down, they will go no huddle and stay in the shotgun. But really, no sense of urgency at all. Chima, four-man rush. Throwing toward the sideline, and that is going to be incomplete. 106 as the clock is stopped with the incomplete pass.
Nitro's got a 10-yard carry, 55 yards on 13 totes. But we're back to Cincinnati with a second down and 10. 17-14, St. Louis protecting a three-point lead. Chima again with a clean pocket.
Wow.
In the field goal range. Warren Murray down to the 18-yard line.
Do you do anything other than hand it to Al Ingram at this point? You've got all three timeouts, you've got 50 seconds, and you've got a tie in your back pocket if you can't find the end zone.
First down, Chima, 40 seconds. Hit as he threw.
He threw it.
The pressure got to him. That'll bring up second down and 10. Same thing going on in Vegas. Second and 10 in overtime. Next score wins it there. Nitro is eventually tackled, but made something out of nothing.
That he did. He kept the legs churning. I thought he was going to break that one too. Chima bobbling. And I'm surprised they're keeping the ball here in the air, Cam. 3rd and 10.
3rd and 10, 36 seconds left. Now Stearns with a 3rd down and 9 for Vegas. To the sideline, incomplete. Dakota gets their second stop of overtime. 3rd down and 10 for Cincinnati. Again, they dump it short. That is not going to be close to a first down. St. Louis and Cincinnati both going to sit on it, as the Vultures on 4th down will try to tie the game with a field goal, as Rick Kuhn makes another tremendous play for Dakota's defense.
And Kuhn has been on it. And really, Ethan Flowers relatively quiet when you think about the kind of game that he has had today. And Rick Kuhn, a huge reason why.
This is a 33-yard field goal. Oh, that ball turned around and is down at the 1-yard line. The 33-yard field goal is good for Cincinnati. We're tied at 17.
And now Dakota will start this next drive in the shadow of their own goalpost. Remember, a safety will end the game if Vegas is able to get a tackle of the ball carrier in the end zone.
That'd be ridiculous, as Lyons gets the carry, the heavy down back. Excellent tackle in the backfield for the Devils. Chris Phillips might have been in on that one. 2nd down and 9, danger zone for Dakota.
Travis Robinson, the fullback, in the game for the Rhinos.
Oh.
And they go to Sites. And another tackle very, very close to the line of scrimmage as Lyons is brought down again. Now, why is Lyons in the game when Liam Sites, the human bulldozer, could be very specifically asked to do his job? But now they're an empty set on 3rd and 9.
Oh, scary.
Here we go.
6 DBs on the field for Vegas. There's Sites. And that catch is going to be good for a first down, and Dakota manages to escape, at least in theory, what would have been a potentially bizarre ending.
Sites with his 9th catch, and can you believe it, Josh? The first 2 games of the UFL playoffs have gone to overtime. Unreal.
Remarkable. Both of these games have been amazing. Both of these teams have showed up to play. And as I said with the Vegas-Dakota game, I kind of hope they go on forever. This is so much fun right now.
Sites with a handoff, picking up 2. From the perspective of the producer, I sure hope they don't. Josh, we got to clear it out so we can get ready for Rochester, Dallas, Phoenix, Salt Lake at the top of the hour, and or at the bottom of the hour, and hopefully these games are just as good as our first 2, as Billy Flagg takes off and runs, has a first down to the 31-yard line. Overtime has begun in Cincinnati. It's the Vultures getting the ball first.
And that's a dangerous proposition for St. Louis that has really struggled to find ways to shut down Mac Chima. They have, by and large, but They've been extending some drives, and you've got a gas defense in St. Louis and, against a Vultures team that managed to tie this game up. Now I'll be curious to see what Mac Chima does here right out of the gate.
Chima fires. There's a penalty marker, though, and a flip out for Dakota. Gets nothing. Now is a hold. How have we seen every single penalty possible here tonight in the playoffs? A holding makes it 1st and 20.
It's like a symposium over here. Down at the 10, and they get back to the original line of scrimmage.
2nd and 10,
Mac
Dakota. And 2 yards shy. Flag now 28 of 34. Harris with his 2nd catch. 3rd and 2 coming up.
2nd and long in Cincinnati. Chima's going to hand it off, and Ingram gets tripped up and will get maybe a yard or 2 3rd down.
Oh, an ugly 3rd down for Dakota as they tried to get a little quick screen out there. It lost a yard. Nixon with the catch. Corrales corrals the receiver in the open field. It is 4th down. Dakota will have to punt again. We're approaching double overtime in Sioux Falls.
Remember, Vegas did have that roughing the punter penalty earlier in the game that extended a Dakota drive, although the punter much farther back than what transpired during that particular play.
That's another great punt.
Whoa.
Vegas down to the 3, and Cincinnati goes 3 and out on their opening possession. They'll have to punt. St. Louis can win the football game. Oh, look at that punt.
Majestic.
Oh!
You almost
Down to the
can't walk
1.
it in there. Can't walk down and drop it any better than that. That is absolutely ridiculous. And it just checks right back up, gets exactly the bounce you want, and caresses the turf. Brendan Davis, you are a magician, sir.
And that was close. It looked like, I don't know, that didn't go in the end zone. That's a, man, that was close. 1st and 10 at the 1 for St. Louis. Vegas was at their own 3. Just got 8 yards. 412 to 272. Dakota has outgained Vegas tonight, but we're still tied as Nitro takes the handoff, gets nothing. 3rd and 1.
Meanwhile, Cincinnati, Kaizumi hands off to the fullback Garrett Westling, who gets 9.5 yards. And now looking to throw here, Kaizumi slides to get the 1st down right in front of the face of Eldrin Ford. And St. Louis has a little bit of breathing room.
Next score wins in both games, and Vegas has David Glidden for the 1st down. 26 of 37 for Frank Stearns. 5th catch for Glidden. Vegas moves the sticks. Karen Kaizumi on a 1st down and 10. Fires over the middle. That pass is caught at the 19-yard line.
Kaizumi much more responsible with the football than we have seen her in other games. This is a playoff Karen Kaizumi, and she has looked fantastic.
Rochester, Dallas, Phoenix, Salt Lake coming up in a matter of moments. 2:10 to go in overtime. Vegas and Dakota tied at 13. Play fake for Stearns. Stearns going to take off and run. Stearns has open field.
Boy.
Frank Stearns lost the ball. Picked up by Dakota. Down the sideline. Raccoon. Touchdown. Dakota is advancing.
A scoop and score in overtime. Frank Stearns, you gotta hit the deck, my man. Dakota, and look who it is, our boy Kuhn. Stearns trying to make something happen for his team. And Rick Kuhn, in one fell swoop, slashing the playoff hopes and dreams of the Vegas Devils. Unbelievable.
It was a 36-yard return. And Dakota has won the ball game 19-13.
Wow.
Unbelievable. 2 defensive touchdowns in this game, and the difference was the lone offensive touchdown. Billy Flagg to Tony Horn Jr. Cincinnati now has the football at the 44-yard line. You'll see Rochester and Dallas on the right. You'll see Phoenix and Salt Lake coming up on the left. in a matter of moments. Let's go to Cincinnati for the conclusion of that game right now, as the Vultures try to drive it to the 48.
Give it up for Rick Kuhn, though. Massive baller. And congratulations to Dakota. You are advancing in the Western Conference playoffs with a well-earned win, dare I say. We might have another well-earned win here in Cincinnati right now.
Phoenix and Salt Lake. Go ahead, Josh.
Oh, T-Roy Gaines just making another big catch over the middle, putting life and limb on the line for the success and advancement of his team. As productive as he has been, providing some emotional support by being a steady pass catcher for Mac Chima. If you're just joining us, we are still in overtime here. Cincinnati kicked a field goal in the last minute to tie it up. And Chima looking to deal right now. That is incomplete. Out to the right side, 2nd and 10. St. Louis and Cincinnati, both of these teams made serious hay in the regular season. Cincinnati, of course, started 6-0, lost their way a little bit, and rallied to win 3 of their last 4, trying to make it 4 out of 5. With this here, that completion goes a long way, as the Vultures now in field goal range. Guess who? It's Warren Murray, his 5th catch of the night.
And now a 49-yard field goal would end it for Cincinnati. St. Louis is desperate for a stop, as Phoenix and Salt Lake, Rochester, Dallas about to get underway.
Certainly fatigue has to be a factor on the field here, as these teams have been on the field for going on 5 quarters now. And Cincinnati looking for a place to strike. A potential death knell as Al Ingram goes up to the right side and is in the red zone. And it's only a matter of time now before they send Eric Amaral on the field to kick what will be their ticket to the semifinals.
And inside the 20, Josh, I think that might be it. Cincinnati from 36 for the win.
Off the right hash. Bot is down, kick is up. Cincinnati wins. A pair of legendary games side by side, culminating in game-winning field goals. This time it's Eric Amaral for Cincinnati, as the Vultures advance past a scrappy St. Louis team by the final score of 20-17.
Phoenix and Salt Lake are underway, and we are now joining action just a little bit late in Dallas, where Rochester and Dallas are kicking off. We are in the second block of the UFL playoffs, and alongside Josh Zirkle, I'm Cameron Irvine. It turns out, Josh, man, there was no waiting for us, as we had a pair of overtime games to start the postseason. I didn't think that was possible.
We're experiencing magic tonight. You know, the first playoff broadcast in UFL history. We got the chat here. We've got you and me in the booth just slinging barbs, trying to describe the chaos that we're seeing here as Carter gets blowed up in his own backfield. It's just been so much fun, and I literally can't keep track of it all. I might need medical attention by the time this evening's over.
All right, now for all the Yugo players out there, 20 was the last called number. I'm looking to see if anybody got a Yugo in that block. I do not see it. So we're resetting the cards. All the numbers are gone from that initial block, and we start anew here in the second block of the UFL wildcard playoffs. We are setting the stage here, getting a little bit out late to set the stage, as Salt Lake is going to have to punt on their opening possession. Phoenix and Salt Lake, the 8-1 matchup in the West. Phoenix lost to Salt Lake 16-10 in the first meeting, and the Skyhawks played the Hornets probably one of the toughest of any teams in the league, as that's a nasty hit on Alexander West. And then you've got Rochester and Dallas, the Pioneers making their first trip to the postseason in franchise history. Matt Wilson going down the field. That is incomplete. So third down and long coming up for Rochester, taking on the explosive Dallas Talons. 4.5-point favorites are Dallas, 5.5-point favorites are Salt Lake, as we are underway in our second block here on the Virtual Football Network. And I understand that we had a second live stream link available for this block, but didn't end up getting to it because we had to rush right into things after a pair of overtime games got us started. Cincinnati defeats St. Louis 20-17, and Dakota beats Vegas 19-13. And in both of those games, Josh, it was unexpected. Vegas was up on Dakota 13-3, and St. Louis led Cincinnati 17-14 in the final couple minutes, and both of those teams who had upset potential ended up losing in the end.
Yeah, they put up a tremendous fight, Cam, and we saw things in those games that I've never seen in sim football before. What an absolute blast and a treat, not only to just watch those games, but to watch them side by side and experience them together with you and with Chad, and to have two more games just like that rolled out in front of us with some great matchups here. Phoenix, more of a scrappy, a grinder team, snuck into the 8 seed in the Western Conference. They're great at stopping the run, though. They're great at generating turnovers. You don't see a lot of highly vaunted offensive or defensive units from these guys. They just don't rank that high, but they do what it takes to win games. Salt Lake, meanwhile, obviously the class of the UFL, undefeated at home, where we're playing here tonight. They only lost 2 games all year by a combined 6 points, and there's really no weaknesses on this team that Phoenix has to exploit. They've really got their work cut out for them. Meanwhile, Rochester, sort of your classic grounded pound team, it's about as run heavy as it gets. They played great defense, and Dallas is going to have a long day if Rochester's able to get out early. Dallas, meanwhile, just all kinds of playmakers. They've scored 108 points in their last 3 games, and Cam, they're not showing any signs of slowing down.
Yeah, it feels like a bad matchup for Rochester, Josh, because, you know, the Pioneers they're not going to win a bunch of shootouts, and Dallas has plenty of weapons. They are at the Pioneer 43-yard line right now, as Rochester aims this week to just try to keep them in front of them. And look at Travius James, the UFL record holder for longest rushing touchdown this season and most rushing yards in a game this season with 271. Gets a first down up to the Pioneer 27-yard line.
It's really what Rochester's going to have to look out for, is find an answer to, stop James on the second level. And they've got some studs on defense. E.K. Vincent at linebacker, and then obviously the secondary with Joe Allen and Hantayumi, who are going to have to contribute to the run game as well. But Dallas probably, as you said, thinking this is a matchup that they can win. Rochester's going to have to pull out a couple stops to not only get an early lead, but also to keep it.
Wow, that was almost a touchdown for Rashad Lockley. We have seen him make those catches all too often. Hey, how about Phoenix? They get a stop on their opening drive. They got a 3rd and inches at the Salt Lake 36.
And that's what you want to see. I mean, this is a grinding team. They are not going to just lay down and let Salt Lake waltz into the semifinal. They are going to put up a fight, and they think they've got some secret sauce that might get them out of Salt Lake City with a win.
The ball is incomplete. Joe Tillo, 6 of 7. That's kind of an interesting call there, as Cameron Duty takes off and runs. Not necessarily a running quarterback, picking up 4. But, man, on 3rd down and inches, that's a surprising call. I wonder if Phoenix will go for it on 4th down.
We'll see. I mean, Joe Tillo, Chris Andrews, Andy Sands, and then Matthias Sanzimbo. Let me take one more shot at that. Matthias Sanzbino.
There you go.
Who has been red hot, 3 touchdowns, and that field goal is nearly blocked.
He got it.
Just barely got the steam, and Phoenix takes the lead at Salt Lake.
Wow.
53 yards. That was nearly blocked.
How'd he get that off? And for the second time tonight, 51 plus is your first number off your cards. Man, what a kick. Phoenix takes the lead.
I can't believe that actually got up there. That was like when you're at the first tee at the golf course and you just top the snot out of it and you kill like 2 or 3 groundhogs with the ball because it doesn't get it 10 feet off the ground.
So people asking about the playoff bracket. It's not necessarily exactly how the bracket looks. It's just sorted 1 through 4 up and down, but then in the next round you'll see everything sort of percolate. So Cincinnati is the 4 seed. Right now they would be situated in facing the winner of Miami and Milwaukee in the 1-8 matchup, but we have to wait until we see all 4 winners on each side of the bracket to determine who's going to take on who, as Lockley again was open in the back of the end zone. Almost only feels like a matter of time before Dallas gets in there, 3rd and 9 at the 14-yard line.
And meanwhile, Phoenix on defense here against Salt Lake facing a very methodical Jay Carter and Chris Allure. Allure, not somebody you talk, oh, as that ball is bobbled over there in Dallas. But back to Chris Allure, a steady Freddie sort of running back. He doesn't really have any particular flash. He's not a north-south guy. He's not really a bouncy guy. He kind of does it all. And he kind of just very quietly gets 70 or 80 yards a game, or sometimes a lot more than that.
Lockley again was the target, and Dallas significantly targeted Rashad Lockley on that opening drive. 31-yard field goal is up and good for Dallas, so it's 3-0 Talons, 3-0 Skyhawks in the early goings of our second wildcard block tonight.
Yeah, we're off to a nice start here. Both teams, both games getting scores early, and now a big play from Salt Lake City. That's Alexander West of the Salt Lake Wests. Adam West on this team as well. And both of them equally potent and dangerous, as you saw right there. Great route. And you see Adam West, that's DJ Barker, number 84, making a big block there to spring extra yards for Alexander West. And just like that, Jay Carter's in plus territory.
So people are asking about the reseeding in the next round. So yes, there's reseeding in the next round. So just as an example, let's say that Tennessee were to upset New York. Tennessee is 9-7. Cincinnati beat St. Louis, they're 9-7. But Tennessee beat Cincinnati earlier this season and holds that tiebreaker. So Tennessee, the 6th seed, would be the home team in that matchup against Cincinnati, the 4 seed, if that's how it shook out, if those two teams, in fact, were to play each other. Now, we don't know that until we get the results of Rochester, Dallas, Milwaukee, Miami. So just as an example, but we reseed it, and then once the Final Four in each conference has been determined by overall record, then everything at that point is, what do they call it, Josh? Craps? Or what do they call it when it's just straight up? I don't know.
Straight up. I would just call it straight up.
Everything else is straight up after that. And the
no
reason
reseeding and
sorry, Josh.
Go ahead,
the reason
Cam,
for that is because the division winners were guaranteed a top 4 seed and a home playoff game. But that guarantee goes away after the wild card round. So that's why you see that reseeding process. As Carter on a 1st and 10 at the 31 has the Hornets driving for the first time today, and Carter's got the Hornets in the red zone.
And I always hold my breath a little bit when quarterbacks keep it and they run between the tackles and going upfield. Carter did a nice job picking his hole there. He flashes the Chris Allure here. Look at this. Tucks it in. He's running a little upright for my liking, but does a nice job and getting positive yardage out of it for sure.
Yeah, Carter's not really a scrambler either. He definitely looks the part, but completes 70% of his passes this season. Oh, man, Allure running hard, picks up 9. I mentioned earlier to you, Josh, earlier today that the report out of Salt Lake was he was dealing with kind of a knee injury or a leg injury, but he looks pretty good so far.
Yeah, very stout. Almost a sprinter's stride there. running across the left side there, but getting a little rest already is Hopkins. Find his way into the game. Lakeem Hopkins, obviously the backup for Allure. In the game maybe a little sooner than we thought, and now the fullback Lucas Doty is in there as well.
He got it.
Come on, baby. Let's go.
First and goal at the 8. Coming up for the Hornets after they hand it off to Doherty. 3rd and 7 for Rochester. Matt Wilson trying to keep the drive alive, and does so. Dijon Swan down to the 33-yard line. The Pioneers force the field goal on a long Dallas opening drive, and now into field goal range of their own on their opening possession.
Outstanding throw by Matt Wilson, and we've got an outstanding touchdown in Salt Lake. It's Chris Allure, his first rushing touchdown of the playoffs.
I think the thing about Salt Lake this season, the 14-2 Hornets, is, Josh, at times they just make it look so easy, and they made it look easy right there, answering Phoenix's field goal with a touchdown, and just like that, the Hornets take the lead for the first time in the playoffs.
And they don't exactly dazzle you or jump off the film when you watch them, but they just do the little things so well. They don't make mistakes. They don't beat themselves. And when the other team does make a mistake, they typically capitalize on it to the maximum of their ability. And that's as good a reason as any is that they've been undefeated at home, and they've only lost those other 2 games by a combined 6 points.
You see Skippy Curtis on the sideline, one of the offensive linemen along with Mia Pangori on this front for the Hornets, doing the dirty work, blocking for Allure and company, helping the Hornets take a 7-3 advantage. 3rd and 11 for Rochester. They haven't gone anywhere since we last checked in on them. Wilson back to throw. Had 2 receivers in the area. Nobody able to get to it. Now it's 4th down.
Yeah, not sure who that was intended to. Reeside looked a little too far out. And the the corner receiver, probably a little too close to the quarterback. So why not split the difference? If you were an economist, you think that's a great throw.
51-yard kick for Rochester is short. And the Pioneers come up empty.
And that's tough. Let's get a look at it. But when you get close enough for the field goal and to get nothing, and it looked like that was short. It had the rudder, but not the steam.
And off to Tariant for Phoenix. -8 rushing yards for Tariant. His first 2 carries, Jan Lopez makes the tackle, 2nd and long.
Set, ready? 18 Gator. Here we go, let's bring it. Let's go, let's bring it. Big rip, big rip.
And Phoenix does not have a claimed running back. So it'll be interesting to see how effective they're going to be in that department against a very stout Salt Lake defense that, to be fair, does not have a single claimed player on their front 7, with the exception of Don Mariano.
Another loss. That's a 4-yard loss, -12 yards for Tariant in the first quarter. 3rd and long coming up for Phoenix as they start the 2nd quarter in Utah.
That was a quick first quarter. Phoenix now in the shotgun. Tillo.
Wow, 3rd and long, they just ran it. It's kind of surprising.
Yes, it was. And now 4th and 15. High snap. You see the athleticism of Tillo as he gets the snap to Tariant. And now the Hornets are going to get the ball back here.
Dallas on their 2nd possession of the night, already across the 50 again. Hand off to Travius James, getting around the end and getting to the Rochester 40. 3rd down and 8 coming up.
Lakeem Hopkins getting another carry for Salt Lake. As we see some substitution on the field. Lucas Doty back in the game for the Hornets.
Rochester brought some pressure there on 3rd down. left Rivers on an island one-on-one, and look at this swat from Rochester's defense, forcing a fourth down. Pioneers holding their own. You don't do it better than that, Champ Brown.
Oh, that's outstanding. Receiver has the ball in his hands and just knock it out. That's very special. Now field goal. Be 57 yards, excuse me. Does it have the leg? It does not. Another missed field goal from outside of 50 yards in this game.
We've seen a lot of that tonight, which makes Phoenix's 53-yard field goal successful. All that more special here tonight.
Yeah, it really does. I think that is the fourth, I would venture to say, missed field goal from outside 50 yards. And so that will put Rochester in pretty spiffy field position, almost at midfield, right there on the logo. And Matt Wilson will start in the shotgun on 1st and 10, handing off to Casey Mears. And Mears will get her team past midfield on a modest first down gain, 2nd and 7.
Salt Lake just pinned Phoenix at the 4. The punters have been spectacular tonight. Rochester into Dallas territory. The Pioneers holding their own here early. This is just their second possession of the game, so still feels early into the first quarter coming up in Dallas. 9:43 to go in the second quarter in Salt Lake. 7-3 and 3-7 respectively as Tariant is blasted again. Deep shot for Rochester, nearly picked. That was a hospital pass. Thrown out to, I think, Swan. That's the end of the first quarter in Dallas. And every time Daniel Tariant gets the football for Phoenix, he's getting crushed in the backfield.
Yeah, this Salt Lake front four came to play, and they're not getting any sort of block at all. And they're just finding themselves right in the backfield. And Tariant, when he gets the ball, it just has nowhere to go. And this might be really bad news.
2nd and 11, Tariant nothing again. Negative 11 yards on 6 carries as that punt for Rochester trickled into the end zone down to the 20. That's where Dallas will take over.
Absolutely safety watch here for Phoenix. On their 3, Tariant up the middle. A little bit of breathing room for the punter, but that's going to be short, well short of a first down.
That's the second time on 3rd and long we've seen Phoenix run early on in this game. It's almost like, I mean, you've got some big weapons on the outside. One of the matchups that we were looking at earlier in the game is DeQuavius Locke, 5'11". He's a great player. Watch the snap, nearly blocked that punt. He's a great defender, but Houston has some huge receivers on the outside. You feel like that would be a mismatch they try to take advantage of. First down, Salt Lake.
And it might be a situation where Phoenix is just biding their time. They understand that it's a short game. They understand that Salt Lake can capitalize on mistakes when they make them. And really just maybe playing this first half to hang with them before they open the bag of tricks for the second half. But it might be too late for this. Chris Allure is gone up the left side. Salt Lake has their second touchdown of the game. 54 yards for Chris Allure.
He makes it look so easy, and those are the type of plays. How many times this season, Josh, have we seen in the second quarter Salt Lake just open up a can, just like that from Chris Allure? A huge play given up by the Phoenix defense, and Salt Lake starts to stretch their legs a little bit. They're up 10.
That's just what they do, and the second quarter has been their quarter. We've seen it playing against good teams. We've seen them playing against bad teams. It just does not seem to matter. They will eventually find your number. And this could be a very long night for Phoenix. After 2 overtime games, we might be seeing something. You might want to put the kids to bed because this is going to get ugly.
They got to respond. 7:53 to go in the first. Rochester now challenging this call. Actually, I think that's a great challenge. Where's the second foot in bounds? Unless they're calling that first foot with possession.
Doesn't look like my possession to me, but my opinion is not the one that matters. So let's see.
I guess they are saying that that second foot, or that first foot, had possession with it. Rochester's going to lose that challenge. I don't blame him for challenging it, though. That was a lot closer than I originally thought.
Those timeouts in the first half are pretty meaningless anyway. I think that's a good challenge.
Here we go.
And Dallas, for the third straight drive tonight, is in Rochester territory at the 41-yard line, but has just a 3-0 lead as Joe Tillo goes to work, finding Chris Andrews. Tillo's now 8 of 9 passing. Andrews has 3 for 24, so Phoenix's passing game is working, 57 yards in the first half. That's more than Salt Lake, but their running game is not. So empty backfield for Tillo on a first down and 10 at the 36. That's Tarrant in motion. Tillo will set up a screen. It is well constructed, and it picks up 5.
Dallas, meanwhile, driving. They just got a fresh set of downs. Looking to extend their lead 3-0. Cameron Duty under center. A little action in the backfield, handing off.
Golly.
Trevius James.
Tarrant again blown up in the backfield. This is game 259, Josh. I haven't seen a team bog down a running back this badly all season long.
I think he was running to the sideline. And that is incomplete. It looks like Tarrant is running to the sideline for his own personal safety. I mean, that's just tough to watch. And we'll see what Tillo has here in the pistol on 3rd and 10. Over the middle, and that is caught. And Phoenix showing signs of life after all. That's Hakeem Matamaluna. A very nice catch and run.
Yeah, Tillo put that right on him and got the match that they wanted. Linebacker on the receiver. Marco Swift asking, is the other game after this one? Marco, we already started an hour late. You think we got another block left in us?
Just have to wait till tomorrow. You got more football tomorrow.
LA and Austin tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, just 20 hours from now. Right back at it with another 4-pack. Eric Vincent will be with me to spare Josh Circle as Cameron Duty goes play action. He's going to take off and run again inside the 10-yard line. And down to the 6, he takes a heavy hit from E.K. Vincent. And, you know, maybe you don't need the sparing. Maybe I need the sparing out after all the illness that I've been dealing with. Poor Josh Circles had to listen to what I sound like when I hit the mute button.
It's wonderful. You're not missing anything, folks. Duty heads off, and that's James getting blowed up in the backfield. Vincent back on the scene again, along with the Adrian Palmer, or excuse me, that is Jordan Gordon.
Pick. Jan Lopez with the pick for Salt Lake. Phoenix had a drive going, it's shut down.
And that's just brutal because this is the only way they're going to keep themselves in this game. Joe Tillo is trying to watch it again on the board, and here it is. And that is tough. Not really sure. I think he was looking for Matamaluna again and just couldn't get there. Meanwhile, Cameron Duty sacked all the way back to the 18, or they're going to spot him at the 20. And there's Palmer. Jordan Gordon and DeAdrian Palmer both wearing 95.
It's fourth down and 14. Josh Rochester gets another stop, another half stop anyway.
For sure, they'll get 3 points, but still within one score. And Rochester will try and answer. Meanwhile, in Salt Lake, Chris Allure trying to answer. Already approaching the century mark. We're not even out of the first half. Dallas will kick the field goal. They lead 6-0 off of the foot of Corey Ruth.
Look at the blocking for Salt Lake on the outside. Allure picks up 13, 9 carries, 93 yards, 2 touchdowns. Phoenix's defense has to come up with a stop right here or it could get ugly.
Yeah, and it's not looking great. Allure showing no issues with that knee at all. I mean, that is just magnificent. If you were going to teach a kid how to be a sprinter, you would show him that video. Knees up, head turned up He's like a gazelle galloping through the forest, just a thing of beauty.
So if you're just joining us, we were unable to move over to the broadcast link for Phoenix, Salt Lake, Rochester, Dallas, because the games literally started as the other games were finishing. The first 2 games in the block both went to overtime and had us sweating here at the studio, so we did the best thing we could, which was to get you to the action immediately so that you didn't miss anything here on our playoff simulcast broadcast with yours truly and Josh Zirkle. Matt Wilson taking off, trying to get the Pioneer offense going. He's got a first down up to the 38-yard line, picking up 13 on his first carry. 5.5 to go in the first half. Rochester still scoreless.
Yeah, and Matt Wilson makes a lot of Talons fans nervous with his running. He makes a couple of Rochester fans nervous with his running also, as he has been prone to fumble after getting facing contact after those long runs downfield. But he holds on to the ball there and in service to his team gets a fresh set of downs.
3rd down and 2 for Salt Lake, trying to stay on the field. Jay Carter's going to go play action, fire it, and it's tipped and intercepted. Phoenix gets the stop they so desperately needed. And the Skyhawks will take over just before the end of the first half. Adam Watts again, the superstar unclaimed on this Phoenix defense. Boy, Phoenix has got to sure him up or he might be going someplace.
Now we can see Joe Tillo in a 2-minute drill, which is basically what they were running before that interception that Salt Lake managed. And see if Tillo can narrow this gap here before both teams head to the locker room.
Perriant negative 10 yards on 8 carries in the first half.
It's just hard to look at. But it's a perfect descriptor of the kind of day he's had. He's just been blown up. And you can't even blame him. He just can't even get to the line of scrimmage.
Again.
Wow.
Nothing. Lost another yard.
And that is just like otherworldly play diagnosis from James Neely.
Man, the Hornets. What's crazy, Josh, is that the Hornets have hardly adjusted this team at all. I mean, they have just been in cruise control, and no one can seem to figure them out. It is, it's wild. But Phoenix has an opportunity here. Down just 11, 2 minutes to go. Tillo going deep, and it is caught at the 31-yard line. Manu Maluna with the hair flying through the air.
That is fantastic. I mean, catch it some waves, Manu Maluna. Outstanding. And Tillo puts us right on the money, puts it where only his guy can get it. And
a little push off.
Comes down with it. Maybe a little bit there. I didn't see the arms extended. So, hanging on to the ball when you take a shock like that on your back is no small feat. And credit to Manu Maluna for pulling that off. And now they're in field goal range.
Hand in his face and everything. Tillo over the middle, incomplete. 12 of 15 in the first half, 2nd down.
3rd down for camera duty in Dallas. 4-man rush. Throws to his left, that is caught. And that'll get Dallas to the 2-minute warning as they approach midfield.
2nd down for Tillo and Phoenix. Tillo is sacked. And there's Jan Lopez again, all over the field for better or worse, with the first takedown of his afternoon, late evening. 3rd and 21 for Phoenix now in the no huddle with 1:08 to go. Remember, they hit a 53-yard field goal earlier in the game. It's another catch.
Unbelievable.
At the 14.
No. Andy Sands, you gotta be kidding me. 29 yards. And technically not even down because he landed on the defender. I need to get another look at this. Tillo just going up one hand, bringing it in.
Oh, there's the knee.
And now has his team in the red zone. This is magnificent.
The knee comes down. That was Locke. That's the matchup we were talking about. Locke's an amazing defender, but it's hard to defend 6'7" and a big body like Andy Sands. Now it's 1st down, Phoenix.
Tillo again. On the screen this time, and Tariant experiences the joy of positive yardage. 2nd and 9.
Dallas back into Rochester territory. They have been living there. Cameron Duty, 11 of 16.
Tillo in the pistol on 2nd down. Has time to throw. Runs the outlet again, and Tariant again. It looks like they're going to call that incomplete. 3rd and 9 now. The Salt Lake defense fired up, trying to get off the field.
Down. 30 base.
Phoenix with, check down city. The receivers making plays down the field.
Still on 3rd down, under pressure. Again finds Tariant, and again horizontally challenged. Can't recognize where the sideline begins. And here comes the field goal unit to make this a 1-score game.
What was that? At least they got points. 30-yard field goal for Phoenix coming up. That kick is good, and it's back to a 1-score game, so 30's off the board. Dallas is once again driving. That's Vance with the catch. 40 seconds
Yeah, it
left.
almost looked like Phoenix just had no idea what to do once they actually got in the red zone. They ran that screen 3 different times. Meanwhile, Dallas calling timeout. They are clinging to a 1-score lead. A couple of 1-score games here. Don't mind if you do.
25 seconds left in Salt Lake. 14-6. Phoenix looks like they're going to get out of this. Pretty good shape. That pick down in the red zone looked like it hurt them, but their defense came back with an interception of their own. Duty, 28 seconds left. Deep shot in the end zone, and that is way too deep. Again, trying to connect with Lockley. Rochester's done a good job on him tonight. And Jay Carter, when you only have to throw 6 times in the first half, that's when you know you're on the league's top team.
Yeah, might throw once or twice here to capitalize on the time that he does have left here in the first half, especially out of the shotgun. And throwing to his right, that is caught and lured out of bounds after a gain of 9 to make it 2nd and 1. Maybe not trying to push the envelope quite so yet.
21 seconds left for Dallas. If they don't get out of bounds, it'll be the last play of the half. Don't get out of bounds or an incompletion. As Carter over the middle finds Barker to the 47-yard line. That's dangerous business for Phoenix's defense. Cameron Duty from the 10 on the run, and that is going to cement a potential field goal as the clock will wind down. Dallas could go for it. We've seen that before. Up 6-0. What do they got to lose? The defense has been great.
Defense has been great, and a 9-point lead against Rochester, you get a pretty good value for it. To go up by 2 scores and head into the locker room, I think makes a lot of sense here. I'd be very surprised to see them go for it.
Oh, they will.
Oh, consider me very surprised.
Duty. Second to go to the 7. It's incomplete, but there's 2 seconds left. So Dallas will get another bite at the apple. Meanwhile, Salt Lake has a 2nd and 4 with 7 seconds left, trying to get in the field goal range.
We got 4.
Duty's going to go for it again. They're in a shotgun. On
Harder
3rd and
deep.
7.
Touchdown!
And touchdown to Dallas! Cameron Duty did it!
How do you do?
Grady! Dallas gets the first touchdown in their playoff game.
Barker, how does Barker get 40-yard touchdown as time expires for Salt Lake? And that is the type of stuff that is infuriating playing the Hornets. I mean, all you got to do is keep them in the field of play. And Salt Lake goes up 21-6 at the break. Unbelievable. What happened in Dallas? Because I was looking at that absolute rocket ship from Jay Carter.
So Dallas had 2 seconds left and decided to go for it again. And Cameron Duty found Freddie Grady, on the crossing route and got him the ball for a touchdown. And just like that, Dallas is taking a 13-0 lead into the locker room. And Rochester going to have to check themselves before they wreck themselves.
So 13, 21, 40 coming off the board there in that segment. 1 second left in the first half in Salt Lake. Phoenix runs that out but can't do anything. So the Hornets get two massive plays, both in the second quarter, to separate themselves from the Phoenix Skyhawks 21-6 at the break. And you look at the first half stats, 132 rushing yards for Salt Lake and minus 11 for Phoenix. Tells the story.
Not going to win a lot of games with negative rushing yardage, but Joe Tillo is fighting. They're battling. They're just up against an absolute juggernaut here at Salt Lake. And they're not the first team to get crushed in Utah like this, and they certainly won't be the last. But looking pretty rough now for Phoenix at this point.
I mean, it's only a 2-score game, but when you play Salt Lake, it feels like a 6-score game. As Dallas is beating Rochester 219-64 in total yards. Travis James on the carry. I think Rochester's got to feel pretty decent that they're only down 13-0, but man, if they would have gotten that stop at the end of the first half when Dallas got greedy, it'd only be a 6-0 game.
Yeah, and that's absolutely huge. Camera duty, and as you alluded to, the value of pulling that off. What do you have to lose? Not much, but certainly a lot to gain, especially when you start the second half with the football.
Duty tried to rocket that down the field. 3rd and 7. Rochester in need of a defensive stop. It's not like the Pioneers and Skyhawks have played bad games, but they have not executed in the biggest moments like Dallas and Salt Lake, a couple of the league's heavyweights have here tonight. Duty on a play action, 3rd and 7, almost taken away. That could have been a pick 6, and Rochester gets the stop.
Yeah, and Phoenix has really had to make a couple of huge plays just to even make this close. As we're looking at the replay here from the receiving corps, it's Andy Sands making a catch, and then, of course, Akeem Manamaluna, who's made some big catches late in the first half. Those are outstanding plays, but you need to finish those, and you need to convert those into touchdowns. And Phoenix has not shown an ability to do that yet at this point.
Another phenomenal punt. This is Dallas's punter getting the ball down to the 5-yard line. So Rochester will have a long field and no points on the board to try to make something happen. The Pioneers, they were so close, Josh Circle. They led New York by 11 points with 4.5 minutes to go. They would have won the division, gotten a home playoff game. Instead, they blow that game in the final week of the season as Tillo's pass is caught to the Salt Lake 39-yard line. Tillo's 17 of 20. But they blow that game against New York as Wilson takes off and runs. And now they find themselves on the road against one of the best teams and the most explosive team in the Great East Conference. And, well, you know what? Should have taken care of business when you had the chance.
Yeah, and that it speaks to the kind of season that Rochester had in what turned out to be a de facto division championship, which was really fun if you had a chance to watch that game. But when you start 4-0 and then you sputter and then you lose 4 of your last 6, that's tough. And Rochester has some great acclaimed players, some great individuals involved in that team. And the success over the course of the season just hasn't translated, and that's been true for a lot of teams.
3rd and 4, Matt Wilson slides, but short of the first down. It's 4th and 2. So Rochester will come up empty, and Dallas will win the field position battle, which they've been dominating all night long. Now, Phoenix, on the other hand, they're putting something together again. 10:30 to go in the 3rd quarter. They're at the Salt Lake 33. Joe Tillo, first down and a face mask at the end of the play. So that's going to move the Skyhawks into the red zone. Phoenix's run game has been putrid, but their pass game has been excellent against one of the league's best defenses.
Yeah, if they could just get Terriant to be bad, if they could just get him to 0 yards of carry, they're going to be so much better off. But Joe Tillo is just ride or die at this point. He knows how fortunate he is to be in the playoffs, and he's not going down without a fight.
Pillow completed a 9. Dallas had a wide open receiver, but Rivers was standing out of bounds, so 2nd down and 10 coming up there. 203 total yards for Phoenix, 211 of them passing.
I like to see them throw it down the field in the red zone and not that wimpy screen to Terrian 2 yards long by the sideline. Speaking of.
And
Terrian blasted again.
My goodness gracious.
Terrence Holland with the TFL.
Little delay, and I mean, just no opportunity. Just beats the blocker.
It just hurts to watch. It hurts to watch. I'm sympathizing with him so hard right now. How do you do indeed, Henry Jones? And now a big 3rd down. What could Tillo pull out of his hat here? Not much. His hat has just hit the turf. It's Malone. And this Salt Lake front 4 is taking no prisoners. And Phoenix will have to bring out the field goal unit.
Touchdowns beat field goals every time, and there goes Freddie Grady down to the 18-yard line for Dallas. So the Talons are back in the red zone as they try to put the screws to Rochester. Phoenix will get a field goal out of it, but man, they have really struggled in the red zone tonight. Bad.
They have, but this is another opportunity. You just got it. You're running out of opportunities, and you got to make something happen.
36-yard attempt. That's 36 and 9 off the board. It's been a tough night for Yugo players, but things may be looking a little bit up here in the second
touchdown.
block. Oh yeah, touchdown Dallas. Wow.
Freddie Grady once again. Look at this dime from camera duty, right in stride, both the feet down. Duty is just like having a night.
Duty's one of those, he's a silent killer, man. I mean, you just don't, when you
He's
look
an
at his
assassin.
stats, you just think, man, has he really been that good this season? And he has. That is an 18-yard connection to Freddie Grady that looked like it was going to be an overthrow, and that ball just died right at the perfect opportunity. They're going to go for 2.
A 21-point lead. 4-man rush. Time to get rid of it, and down he goes.
And that means
Little
go ahead, Josh.
something to write home about if you're Rochester, and we will make sure that is DeAdrian Palmer on the sack. And well covered. You can see the end zone populated with white jerseys. Duty just didn't have an option.
And that means 18 and 19 are off the board as Phoenix looks for a stop. Jay Carter, 9 of 11 for a $123, a touchdown and a pick. And Rochester is searching for answers after their opening drive started at their own 5. Dallas has not had a lot of long fields to work with tonight, Zirkle, as Chris Allure, just like a freight train down the tracks, picks up a 1st down.
Yeah, Allure is magnificent, and you could see great read. And if he'd used Doty's block to get to the outside, I mean, he'd still be running at this point. But just absolutely fantastic and crisp, and really giving Phoenix a hard time.
Hand off, Allure, picking up 6. Salt Lake showing Phoenix how to block. Salt Lake already more points than they had in their first meeting with the Skyhawks.
Right there, 54, right there.
Wilson against a blitz, dumps it off to Everidge, picks up 6, and now Carter on 2nd and 4 hits a wide open receiver to the Phoenix 33. The Skyhawks desperate for a stop, and they're not getting it right now.
Moses Hill, the number 2 tight end in this Salt Lake offense, coming up with a big catch. You know, and when Phoenix saw that they were going to Utah for their first playoff game, they probably had a little bit of excitement because they did play this team so closely in June. And Andy Sands had 100 yards receiving after catching 7 balls. Nick Fritchie, the defender, had 3 tackles for loss. And they probably felt like there was opportunity there, and that opportunity very quickly slipping away with each tick of the clock and each Chris and Laura run.
Back-to-back 3rd down and 4s for Rochester, and both times they only get 2 yards. As that ball goes short of the sticks, Rochester just, as we kind of feared going into this matchup, just not explosive enough to face this Dallas team. They'll have to punt, and their defense facing a lot of pressure. Deep ball to the end zone for Salt Lake is incomplete. Alexander West almost came down with it.
I thought he did come down with an outstanding play. And Salt Lake really not taking their foot off the gas, nor should they at this point.
3rd and
Here
10.
comes a blitz.
Against that blitz, and it does force the ball out of the hands of Jay Carter quickly. Adam West with his 3rd catch. It'll be a 44-yard field goal from here, and Phoenix, at least for the moment, looks like they keep it a 2-score game. Oh, there goes James.
James out to the 45. 57 yards for James so far tonight. Plenty of time left for James to challenge the century mark, especially as his team enjoys a 19-point lead.
44-yard kick for Salt Lake is good. 44-24 off the board, and the Hornets take a 24-9 lead, and they essentially answer Phoenix's field goal with one of their own. So at this point, you just have to say to Phoenix, you need touchdowns. It's just not going to beat this team with field goals. 5:09 to go in the 3rd.
You need touchdowns, and you need to be aggressive in the red zone. And as we let one rip here, another big catch. Camera duty with no regard for human life as Rashad Lockley materializes with the ball in the end zone.
They finally connect, and Josh, I was stunned because Rochester brought a corner blitz, but the corner blitz ran into another defender, and then Lockley one-on-one in the end zone. That man can fly. Dallas went for the jugular, and they might have just choked Rochester out. 25-0.
Make it 26.
And now the Yugo numbers are flowing. 19 called numbers here for vertical or diagonal as Joe Tillo drops that one off to Tarrant again out of the backfield. Josh Tillo is 21 of 24 in this game. He has played phenomenally as Phoenix has another 1st down.
He's been outstanding, but when he has had to do everything by himself, and Tarrant, they're finding good ways to get him the ball, and I'm grateful for that because the run clearly is not working. But you got to figure out what you're going to do in the red zone, and Tillo's advantage is finding his open receiver with everybody spread out down the field. When you get to the 20, 25 yards into the end zone, that advantage dematerializes.
Tillo's 4th incomplete pass of the night. That one off the mark. This has got to be very disappointing for the Rochester Pioneers, Josh, because, like you said, they started 4-0, finished the season 5-7, have been searching for answers to just try to get this offense moving. As Tarrant, speaking of trying to get moving, finally gets some positive rushing yards to set up a 3rd down and 2. But this has been a bitter performance for the Pioneers, who, unlike everyone else that we've seen tonight, has put up a competitive fight.
And I've always been sentimental to Rochester, not just because of the players on the team, but because of the identity that they tried to establish, as we see Wilson trying to go for another run and finally brought down. But that's an identity that I like to see in football. I like to see teams that are run heavy, that focus on being in low-scoring games, that concentrate on defense. And I really thought that if they were able to get ahead in this game, that they would have a chance to make a deep run. I really did. I think they're that good. But there's just too many mistakes, and it does not help at all that camera duty, it just came out tonight for blood. I mean, this guy just had murder on his mind, and he is not done. It's 26-0, and it could get a lot worse before it gets better.
Wilson taking a shot that is incomplete and overthrown. 5 of 11 for 30 yards passing. Rochester will have to punt again. Meanwhile, Phoenix down to the 28-yard line of Salt Lake, first down.
Take a shot right here. Don't worry about the red zone. Throw to the end zone.
Tillo, sideline, incomplete. 3:22 left in the third, still a ball game. Been really impressed with Phoenix. I mean, they're just blow for blow, just have not been able to get in the end zone. 41st offensive play of the day, 28 passes. Run game has struggled. Tillo on a 2nd and 10. Backing up, looking for someone to get open. Now Tillo, a rare run for Joe, and he's going to be brought down for a sack. Mariano.
And that just seems to happen on that end of the field. They just don't know where to get the football. And Tillo probably heard you reading his stats and decided he didn't want to throw another incompletion, just decided to run it. And didn't get quite back to the line of scrimmage, but mitigated some potential damage here on 3rd down.
Come on, set. 30 base.
3rd and 12 for Phoenix at the 30 of Salt Lake.
Now go. Give me some. Give me some. Snap.
Play fake, Tillo fires, incomplete. And that'll bring up 4th down and another field goal.
Yeah, he just don't have enough time to kick field goals here at this point. I don't know if going for it is the right decision. I mean, you're moving the ball. That's the thing. You kick the field goal, it's still a 2-touchdown game. You're down 15 without it, or you're down 12 with it. How much does it really help you at this point?
47-yard field goal for Phoenix is good. That is their 4th field goal of the night, and now 12 is off the board. 47 and 12 come off the board, and it's 24-12 in Salt Lake. A bit of an odd score. And, you know, as we start to focus on tomorrow night, the finishing up of the wild card round, some of these teams that will be leaving the 2025 season, you know, it's an interesting question for the offseason. Josh, for example, St. Louis, what do they do in the offseason? What do they need to make them an elite club? Because at one point they were the East #1 seed for a few weeks there in August.
And one of the best things I think about the UFL is how teams get better as the season goes on. And we saw that with a lot of other teams. Cincinnati was one of those teams. I think Motor City actually was one of those teams as well, where like if you can add 1 or 2 claimed players to your team, you're going to see a jump. And Tennessee's another one. Tennessee was probably the most fun team to watch there in the second half of the season because they were knocking the snot out of everybody. And you know, you just got to wonder how committed can you be to it. Salt Lake is a juggernaut. And Salt Lake is not going to have a lot of issues in the playoffs. But behind them, I feel like it's anybody's game. And whichever one of these teams, whether it's Rochester or even Dallas, or, you know, you look at the teams in the Southwest Division, Houston would miss the playoffs infinitesimally, you know, at the hands of Phoenix and the hands of Austin, who we'll see tomorrow night. I mean, you're just right there. So you just got to decide how much you're going to commit to it and max out and call your friends, call your family, tell them what you're doing, and claim as many players as you can, because we are seeing the results of that in real time. If Phoenix had a claimed running back at this point, I feel like this would be a totally different game.
Salt Lake lost to Los Angeles earlier this season. Of course, LA still in the playoff picture. They've got to play their wild card game against Austin tomorrow, but that could be a potential conference semifinal matchup because LA is the 5 seed right now, and as Rivers gets down to the 5-yard line, Dallas about to just open up, I mean, pouring it on Rochester right now with a minute to go in the third. But, you know, other teams that have played Salt Lake close, San Jose not in the playoffs, Phoenix, obviously, Denver not in the playoffs, Albuquerque not in the playoffs, Wichita not in the playoffs, as Dallas has scored another touchdown, and Duty now knocking over players he throws to. That's Wells with the check that Wells on the carry. Just walks it in. What a madhouse in Big D tonight. But you just look at all these teams that have played Salt Lake close, and they're not here. They're not in the playoffs. And it'll be interesting to see who can try to slow them down. Right now, Phoenix is trying. 24-12, start of the fourth quarter there. And for Dallas, that was a 5-yard touchdown, and they're now up 33-0. Look at that screen pass. Alexander West, first down to the 29-yard line. How many times do you see teams fail to execute that around the league, and Salt Lake does it to perfection?
Yeah, it's just a totally different level, a totally different standard, a level of precision, and that ball is out quick. And West has a chance to turn a field and get yardage before the defense even knows what happens. And good luck tackling a big guy like that, too. He's just making it look tough for everybody.
And knowing what we know about, what we've seen around the league, one thing that I noticed with Salt Lake is that their receivers are excellent blockers. And as the guy that has progressed players all throughout the league, as Salt Lake's now in the red zone, Phoenix just cannot stop these guys. As a guy that's progressed everybody around the league, Josh, not a lot of people are focusing on run blocking or pass blocking for receivers on the outside. And it, when teams are looking in free agency, it could be a hot commodity to just try to get some, some activity outside the hash marks.
Yeah, and it really, when you have an opportunity to build a complete player, it shows up. And we're seeing that with Salt Lake. And you were talking about some of those other teams that didn't make the playoffs. I was surprised. I really thought Wichita a month ago would have been in.
Oh, yeah.
I really thought Denver was going to come storming back. I thought Motor City had a chance. I thought San Jose had a chance. And some of these teams that are in there now at the 6, 7, and 8 seed, they're going to have to do a decent amount of work just to, as Salt Lake scores another touchdown, just to hold serve, just to maintain where they are. Because if this is where the league is in year one, think about where it's going to be in year 2, year 3, as it continues to grow. It's very exciting. It's something I'm really looking forward to seeing.
Carter hits Noah Neely for the 8-yard touchdown, and Phoenix, who needed a stop, needed to hold to a field goal to keep it a 2-score game, just has not had enough defense to keep up with the Hornets here tonight. Rochester's got the ball in the fourth quarter. They trailed 33-0. Salt Lake and Dallas flexing their muscles. In the first block, it looked like anybody's game. Anybody could win. Salt Lake and Dallas proving here in the second block that they may be a step above the competition and ready to go win a championship as Wilson gets it up to the 43-yard line. Coming up in the offseason, let's take the Talons, for example. Any players that are not claimed, they could be taken away. Freddie Grady, for example, has the touchdown for Dallas. He's unclaimed. He might become a superstar receiver somewhere that needs one. That's a great catch to the 26-yard line for Dijon Swan. But there's some talented guys. Curran Foxworth, the #1 corner here in Dallas. Will the Talons protect him and prevent him from going, to a team like Cincinnati, who has really struggled to defend the pass this season at cornerback? So those type of things are going to be interesting in the offseason as Dijon Swan makes that catch. The goal for the UFL next season is to have 10 players on every team. And we hope to accomplish that in the offseason in the months to come. Wilson, first and goal at the 3, going to take off and run, and he's going to be sacked.
When you're talking about player movement, the first guy I thought of was Rene Leon, who, a gigantic wide receiver who had some success in Denver. The team, however, not quite so much, and found himself in greener pastures in Houston and made quite a difference as Rochester finally gets on the scoreboard as Matt Wilson tucks it in with the keeper. So much changes with the personnel. It's like any other sport. It's like any other football game, college, pro, high school, whatever. If you get more talented players, your team is going to have more success. I think that's perfectly exemplifying the sport of football.
And the question is, would Rene Leon leave to go somewhere else? He seems fairly happy in Houston, but he did not score a touchdown since going to Houston. So maybe he, what team out there is properly utilizing their big body receiver, in that offense? And Phoenix certainly doesn't need one. Rochester certainly does. Those type of things, very interesting down the line. Of course, Dallas has 6 claimed players right now. The Pioneers, they have 9 claimed players right now. They look to be, honed in on the future and trying to get better. It certainly wasn't their night, although they did get that goose egg off the board with that 4-yard score to make it 33-7. By the way, Phoenix, they're not quitting, Josh. Down to the 11-yard line, 1st and 10 following the Salt Lake touchdown.
Come on, Phoenix. Let's see you do something here. Tillo on the shotgun. And the screen. Wow. It looked like Manamaluna just picked off his own player and then decided not to run.
The red zone has been such a cluster for Phoenix tonight. Very disappointing.
Absolutely. That's an understatement.
Oh.
Tillo on the screen again. And it's Sansbino this time.
I don't understand.
And now
what
3rd and
is
10.
Tillo so afraid of?
I'm not really sure. I mean, I think some of it is the rush, and I think some of it is the defense. But take a shot, like right there. And it looked like just went in and out of the hands of Chris Andrews there. Wouldn't mind seeing another look at that.
4th and 10. Now, if they do kick a field goal, that's tough. If they do kick a field goal, it's still a 2-score game, but we've been here before, right? I think enough's enough with that.
Yeah, I would say, well, they're going to go for it anyway, so the point is moot. 4-man rush. And in there. Great throw. That is Reginald Fanning. Wow. Bringing in the touchdown for Phoenix. And they're off the red zone schneid.
Fanning, not the most common receiver. And wow, he tight-roped that sideline. Almost stepped out of bounds. Had another receiver in the area, but Phoenix able to haul it in. 31-18, 8:14 to go, Josh. It's not over just yet, but they've struggled to get stops.
12-point game. You got 8 minutes left. Honestly, you probably need a turnover here at some point to salvage field position or maybe even a defensive score.
We've had 25.
Think about it.
25 called numbers tonight. How do we not have a Yugo? It's
amazing.
Bizarre to me. Good spread.
I think everybody's focused on the game.
I suppose so. 31-19, Salt Lake up by 12. Phoenix hanging around, staying alive here. Dallas back across the 50 every time we look over there. Travius James, 20 carries, 116 yards. Another good night for him. Dallas and Salt Lake look like the big dogs tonight. Coming up tomorrow, Fresno, San Diego, Tennessee, New York. 2 games that in our second block that look absolutely outstanding as Duty's going for it all again. Man, let him just chill out. Cam, my goodness. 3rd and 10 coming up. And then in the early block, it's Austin and Los Angeles, LA, road favorites in that one. And then, Milwaukee at Miami. You would think Miami would be the heavy favorites there. Milwaukee has not beaten a team in the playoff field, but at the same time, Josh, Miami has won 4 of their 11 games in overtime this season, and quite frankly, at times has not looked all that impressive. They're the number 1 seed in the East.
Yeah, and Milwaukee has played some good games as well, and they could put up points. They hung 52 on Houston. They hung 38 on Motor City. And those weren't playoff teams, but they were right there. They were right on the cusp. And they've won close games as well. What you haven't seen from Milwaukee is like the really big multi-game streaks that you've seen out of teams like Dallas and obviously Salt Lake and even Rochester, who as we mentioned, had that strong start. But Milwaukee, when I've seen them play on primetime or game night, they put up a fight. And I think that's going to be a formidable playoff team if they can avoid some of the pitfalls that we've seen from a couple teams here tonight.
Ron Haynes better be ready for Mike Churchill and that Milwaukee Stags unit who will be looking to pull an upset. Phoenix needs a stop. Now, they did get a sack from Nick Fritchie, his second of the night, and after that Chris Allure run, they forced him into 3rd down and 14. So this is a moment for Phoenix.
Carter's got to throw it here.
Oh, got it.
And that's not great.
Unbelievable. I mean, they need 14, they get 14. It's just perfectly executed. Alexander West, 3rd catch.
And that only puts him at 50 yards. That is amazing to me that they have thrown the ball so little. And really, Chris Allure has made this offense look really, really good with some of the big runs that he's busted. But it doesn't feel like they've compiled a lot of yardage, talking about Salt Lake here. And we're just about 6 minutes away from the end of this game.
Another completion for Carter. You know what's interesting, Josh, as we get down to, 8 teams, 4 teams, 2 teams, is the players around the league winning drops and winning Yugos. And who do they try to take out? What teams do they cheer for? And even when you're not playing in the UFL, you have the ability to impact the games that are still left on the calendar, and it makes it all the more fascinating. It's just going to be interesting to see, who wins these drops down the stretch and how they're applied. And we saw Chris Allure kind of come into the night dinged up. Maybe they took their best swing at him, but he seems to be okay tonight. Well, what about next week? It's going to be interesting to see, how things develop and how they shake out. As Phoenix, desperate to get off the field here, still not out of it. 4.5 to go, but the clock is not their friend.
No, not at all at this point. And, to what you're saying about Yugo, I was fortunate enough to win a Yugo a couple of weeks ago, and I was happy to lend my boost to a team that I'm pleased to say at this particular moment is still in the playoffs. So the multiple moving parts of it are part of what make it so much fun, and it gives another level of engagement for fans watching on chat too. So it's a lot to love, especially as we're winding down.
In the red zone, has a 1st and goal at the 3. 3:10 to go in the 4th. Rochester playing a better 4th quarter. 3rd down and 12 for Carter, and Carter takes a sack at the 38-yard line. That may have knocked Salt Lake out of field goal range with 3:25 to go, and Phoenix may have just gotten their stop. Matt Wilson pulls into the end zone for a 3-yard score, and Rochester's got a pair of 4th quarter touchdowns.
And Jay Carter took a shot. That's Cameron Looters. That just came in and smacked him in the face. In some leagues, you see a personal foul call for, leveling a hit in that way. Not in this league. And now Salt Lake has another breath of life here. Don't touch that dial just yet.
Well, they're going to kick from 55. Trying to make it a 15-point game. Iron leg. Missed to the left.
Wow.
I thought he had it.
I did too. It looked like it had the steam, but maybe not quite the rudder. Let's get another look at it.
Man,
this is not the best vantage point. He did. He pulled it, went wide left. Got to square the shoulders at a point of impact there, my friend.
Look out.
And now look at this. Joe Tillo comes marching back onto the field. 337 yards already. And more to come.
Man, 30 of 38. Phoenix with an opportunity here. Not done yet, and Tillo is sacked. James Neely with his first, and on that note, as Dallas recovers the onside kick, Anthony Strangio, $4.99 Super Chat. Who you got in the Battle of the Cats 3, Fresno and San Diego circle? You think Fresno could pull an upset? They lost 17-12 in Week 17.
You know, we talk about Rochester being one-dimensional. San Diego runs the ball a ton. And I think if I have this right, they were at one point, they were at 2,800 yards rushing when the second best team in the league had 2,200 yards rushing. I mean, that is great if you can get into a playoff game and rush and come out with a lead. But I think Fresno, if we've learned anything tonight, it's that one-dimensional teams are going to be in trouble. And I think if Fresno can spread their, I know cats don't spread their wings, but if they could find something on the offensive side, I think they're going to give San Diego a game. But mad respect for both teams, though. I think it's going to be fun to watch. And the fact that they're both cat mascots adds a little something to that for me, too. Got to be honest.
And they're both in California, and they're both in the same division. And certainly very familiar with each other.
It's ripe for parity.
55, my guy, 55.
Cameron Duty's here. How about those Talons? Proud to be quarterback number 10 of this squad. A good game, Rochester. Meanwhile, Phoenix is just putting along. Man, Terrian's got 8 grabs. When you got Chris Andrews and Andy, my goodness.
Yeah, throw it down the field.
120 left. Tillo overshoots another intended target for Terrian. 34 of 43.
Not sure what. I don't like the mindset. I don't like the decision. I don't like the throw.
Did you see Sands running one-on-one down the field? Take a shot.
I did not see that.
4th and 2.
The guy with the football didn't see it either, though, so I don't feel so bad.
4th and 2. They run it, and they got it.
Wow.
Terrian, 13 carries for 0 yards with that run.
I shouldn't laugh, but that is... We are seeing things we've never seen in the regular season tonight, and I am just beside myself. 13 carries for 0 yards. The most psycho, sycophantic, degenerate would not place any bet for 13 carries for 0 yards. That is absolutely unheard of.
And Travius James gets a 5-yard rushing touchdown. It looks like Dallas will put up a 40-burger here tonight. 2nd down and 4. Phoenix running out of time. Tillo finally fires down the field. Caught at the 8. Timeout, Skyhawks. 30 seconds left. It's got to go in the end zone.
It's got to. And you're literally out of time to do anything else at this point.
Extra point for Dallas.
How amazing would it be if they handed it off to Chris Terrian, who would potentially finish the game with 14 carries for 6 yards and a touchdown?
No, but they will throw it to him on a wheel route, and he is tackled at the 2.
Did they give him forward progress? They did not. That's going to stop the clock.
So a little bit more here for Phoenix.
New level of intrigue unlocked. And now we got the fullback in the game.
Just get it to the end zone. Tillo dumps it, and Salt Lake stops him at the 1.
They're going to let it run. So, but after the runoff, this will be like 7 seconds.
Man, Phoenix just... Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, and they just false started. And there is no option to take a timeout, which means it's a 10-second runoff and the game is over.
All right, tell me that's not the best ending for that game. That you could have not scripted that any more appropriately. Congratulations to Salt Lake. And congratulations to Phoenix on a great season. Chris Allure, my goodness, you set the night on fire. 20 carries, 165 yards. And Salt Lake, once again, showing why they're the class of the UFL, holding serve at home, 31-19.
And listen, Josh, if you're Phoenix, like, you could have won that game. 366 passing yards, 0 rushing yards. That is the official final stat. That's a first in UFL history. 0 rushing yards for Phoenix. You got to get a line that can run block, and you got to get a claim running back. That's the priority for Phoenix in the offseason because they got some great pieces. And Joe Tillo played his arse off tonight.
Yes, he did.
On the road against the league's best team, nearly 400 yards of offense, and just came up a little short. Disappointing end for Phoenix tonight, but Salt Lake made it difficult on them, no doubt.
They did, as they do on everybody else, and they'll be doing that again to somebody probably next week, but can't help but feel they let an opportunity slip away. I feel like Phoenix, despite being a playoff team, not quite playing up to the potential that they could have, and they can be forgiven if they're a little disappointed.
Ernest McCray with our first postseason Yugo, and St. Louis unfortunately eliminated earlier tonight in overtime, but now Ernest McCray will have an opportunity to potentially impact the playoffs or get St. Louis improved heading into 2026. We're down to 3 seconds, 2, 1. The clock's going to run out on Rochester. Dallas wins 40-14 over the Rochester Pioneers. 31-19. Salt Lake beats Phoenix. Your final thoughts, Josh Zirkle, as we cue the outro.
That's going to be the Cameron Duty game. That's going down in history as Cameron Duty just serving notice to the rest of the UFL. Outstanding. Just 30 points, 27 points in the second half of that game. And just Rochester, a very good football team that just, in a lot of ways, did not have a chance in this game.
The first round of the wild card playoffs are in the books. No turnovers in Dallas tonight, but Dallas takes care of Rochester 40-14. Salt Lake beats Phoenix 31-19 in a pair of overtime games earlier tonight. Saw St. Louis fall to Cincinnati 20-17, and Dakota get a fumble 6 to walk off Vegas 19-13. From all of us at the UFL, this has been a presentation of the Virtual Football Network. For Josh Zirkle, I'm Cameron Irvine. We'll see you tomorrow night with yours truly and Eric Vinson on the calls. Have a great evening. Good night, everybody.